What's going on, Internet? The Black Ukagi here, aka TBH. And to be honest, I'd like to welcome you all back to the Game and Illuminaughty podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned into episode 166. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know the show is also available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. Just be sure to rate the show 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. We need your 5-star rating so we can move up those charts and bring in new listeners and grow. Follow us on social media as well. We're available on all platforms, including TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Our handle there is GI Updates. And if you want to join the Discord, discord.gg/GI Updates. Links to all our social media will be in the description box below of the video version at youtube.com/GI Updates. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to my co-host, the first of which claims he has a badass dog, just like Crypto, which makes me wonder, is Riken from Krypton? Give me Ethos. Say what up to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm not gonna lie. That movie was a 1-to-1 representation of. I don't know if your dog acts like that, but that's how my dog acts all the time. The jumping on you, sleeping on you all the time when you wake up. You're like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, that's basically my dog. So yeah. Shout out to my dog.
Like, minor spoiler, there was literally a moment in the movie where Superman says where he was looking for Crypto and he was just like, yeah, he's not even a good dog, but he's scared and he's lonely. And Brooke turned to me and she was like, yeah, that's literally your dog. I was like, yeah, he gets my fucking nerves, bro.
That's my dog. Same thing, yeah. My dog just like that.
And my second co-host, she just finished sitting on her ass all day streaming the game, so she's fully prepared. Just sit on her ass some more and yap about the game without feeling somber or echoing without any of us. It's 5,000 watts. Say what up to the people.
That was a good one. Hi, everyone. He's talking about a game called Somber Echoes, which is an indie game it's an indie Metroidvania, which actually got a console release, which pretty much never happens. You can normally only play those games on PC. So it's $20. Check it out. It's a cool game.
And last but not least is our third co-host, who loves to whip up Happy Meals in the kitchen for his family while he's listening to the clips talk about whipping up in the kitchen. UTXJG the Don. Say what up to the people.
Yeah, man. Clips got the album of the year so far, man. I'm telling you, it made me want to be a fake cocaine cowboy. We gonna make it happen, bro. Whipping in the kitchen for real.
You dress like one.
Real rappers back.
You look like you fresh off the boat from Miami right now.
I'm fresh off my hot date. You see how dedicated I am to the pod? I came right home, man, and got on the computer.
That's crazy. All right, with the intros out of the way, let's get into the leading conversations for the podcast. First things first, we're going to be talking about a game I did not play, and I know they're going to talk a lot of shit, but ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and get in front of these accusations and say it's not about how you start the year, it's how you finish. Don't worry about that. I will catch up. I've had a lot going on in the background. We're going to be talking about Liza P Overture, which is the new DLC from Liza P, what includes a new story. I believe it takes place like somewhere in the middle of the base game. It's like a prequel story. New bosses, new areas, new weapons. Give me the good, bad, and the ugly on Eliza P Overture. Watts, I know you loved it, right?
I did. However, there is a reason why they made an update to the game pretty quickly. So if you weren't following what was going on, Liza P Overture comes out. They added difficulty settings, but the default difficulty setting is called Legendary Stalker. And that is what the base game was on before they added difficulty settings. So like, cool, don't change anything. It's the hardest difficulty and that's the default. And then I go into the first area and every little thing is two-shotting me. Now, granted, I am in New Game Plus and I know that it was better if you were not in New Game Plus, but I'm like, that's weird. I never remember in Liza P having regular enemies two-shot me. So you're fighting like 3 wolves in this one area. That took me longer than any of the bosses in the game to actually get past those 3 wolves because they're all jumping at you at different times and they all can like two-shot you. So the director ended up putting out a letter and saying like, yeah, we know something's off. We'll make some adjustments. And they did end up making adjustments. I haven't played it post that because I finished the whole game before they did that. But to me, the bosses felt really good. It was just those regular enemies. The regular enemies in the out in the world, which just felt off. Just felt off because I feel like there's this really fine balance with these kind of games where you want it to be challenging, but you don't want exploration to start feeling frustrating because the regular enemies are just beating your ass constantly. And I think it had tipped a little bit over into the frustrating category. But I finished it. I really liked it. The story was really good. It happens before the main game, so you basically travel back in time. You do keep your own character, which I was not expecting because it was a prequel story. So I thought that we were going to have like a new character, but you keep everything. You go back in time and you get to experience what happened like before the puppet frenzy. And the puppet frenzy is when all the puppets go mad and start killing everybody. So you get to experience that story. There's a bunch of new areas. All of the areas are really cool looking. There's like a zoo, which is really cool. I won't say everything that's in there, but all of the areas looked really good. And all of the bosses I felt were really cool. There was one boss that, again, I won't super spoil, but it had two people that you were fighting. I normally don't like those bosses, but I think they did a really good job of letting you know when which thing was going to attack you. So, yeah, I really liked it. And it's got the best weapons, like, in the game. There's a gunblade, straight out of Final Fantasy VIII. If they wish they could have a gunblade like that gunblade. The gunblade is so cool. There was also a pinwheel weapon where it literally looks like the spinning pinwheels that you have in your grass outside. But it's a massive freaking weapon, and as you run, it spins up the pinwheels, and they do more damage when they're spinning. So yeah, just really cool, unique weapons. Enjoyed using all of them. I tried them all. Had a very good time.
What would you rate the DLC out of 10?
I'd probably give it an 8. I'd probably do an 8. If I didn't have that experience of feeling like things went into frustrating, I'd probably go with 9. But yeah, there were some parts where I was like, man, why is everything two-shotting me? Everything. And then I get to the bosses and I'm like, oh, sweet. This is awesome. This feels great. So it felt, you know, when you play so many of these games, you can tell when something just feels out of whack. Like something just feels weird, especially as I've already played Lies of P. So yeah, I'd give it an 8.
I'm glad you brought up early on in your thoughts when it comes to Overture about the balancing and how it felt out of whack because they introduced difficulty options, because this allows me to push my agenda about gatekeeping certain things. I think the issues that this DLC had early on kind of proved the point that not everything needs to be for everybody, and that's okay, because when you try to do that, what happens is you end up pleasing nobody. And as you mentioned earlier, you were upset as a hardcore Souls fan, and you ended up dropping the score because it took a patch for the game to be the way that you wanted it to be. Because what happens is when you put all these difficulties in a game, because you got people that want to play a hard game on easy, then you got to balance X, Y, and Z, the bosses, the regular enemies, and it's easy for certain mistakes to get slipped through the cracks when you got to sit there and balance the game 3, 4, 5 different times because you got all these different difficulties versus having one thing that they can just focus on and fine tune and make it better. So I'm glad you naturally brought that up. I know some people are going to disagree and it's gonna upset them, but I do think that that's funny because
people are gonna get mad. I agree with you though.
You're not the only one I see online say that stuff. It's like, I don't understand the concept of you want to play a Souls game on easy. It kind of defeats the purpose, but I mean, hey, your money, whatever. Jay.
This is the thing, right? Like, go ahead. I know that I don't, like, my reasoning for I don't actually like difficulty settings at all, but my reasoning for it is because, like you said, if you're making a game, it's the same reason why if a game is only on one console or one platform, that it's probably going to perform better because they just have to deal with one thing. They're focused on one single thing. And it's not that I don't want people to experience the game and if you really like the story or whatever, but these games do naturally put things in them to make the game easier for yourself. Normally there's like in Lies of P base game, items were busted. If you just spent your money on buying items, they were so insanely strong. So you could spec into a way to make the game easier for yourself. You could choose to summon. There's so many different things that these games do to make them easier. I don't feel like they need an easy mode, especially as like, that's kind of the point of the genre, is that we're all having this very similar experience. We're experiencing things in the same way. We just have different builds, and I really value that.
Okay.
Also, difficulty is not accessibility. I actually think it's kind of offensive to be like, you have to make the game easier for disabled people to be able to play it. Easier does not make the game more accessible. accessibility options make the game more accessible.
Okay. Jay, how you feeling about Overture?
Damn. Yeah, so I was in the exact same situation as Watts. I actually remember day one when this came out. I was streaming it. Watts came in the chat and said, "Do you feel like this game is a little difficult?" She was like, "I was getting two-shot at by the wolves." So literally the wolves were like the worst. I think like in any Souls game, you know, like wolves and dogs are like some of the worst enemies in all these games, period. I said, yeah, something was wrong. Like I was, you know, the stream was playing. I was literally cannot get past one part in the zoo because the wolves were just kicking my ass constantly, two-shotting. Yeah, freaking wolves, regular ass enemies. And so we collectively, you know, said something is wrong. So for me, I was on New Game Plus 2, actually. I beat the game, chose the bad ending, and then I beat it again, chose the good ending, fought the Nameless Puppet, which CBA's always talks about. Somebody didn't beat NGI. So I beat the Nameless Puppet, and then now the DLC. So yeah, we thought that something was wrong. And then once the creator came out and said, yeah, you know, we need to you know, tune that down because something's out of whack. We're like, okay, now what we thought, you know, was confirmed. So that was the weird thing about it. But outside of that, the DLC was like damn near flawless. Loved all the weapons. Like almost every single weapon I actually wanted to try. And that's rare for me. You know, like I actually got the bow. I was trying that out. I'm like, this is fun. Like actually playing with the ranged weapon. The gunblade, by far, as Watt said, is the best DLC weapon for me personally. Absolutely love that. So yeah, that was all great. The enemies were great. The bosses were great. I loved almost every single one of those fights. Those were amazing. I love the story. I think that was the one thing with Lots of P compared to games like Elden Ring. Even though Elden Ring has a lot of lore, Lies of P made it, you know, more accessible to follow through from beginning to end without having to look up anything extra. So now that we get this prequel story, you know, it makes a lot more sense, you know, how you got to where you were in the base game. So I love that they provided that full context. So that's what really drew me in. Once I found out about that, like, oh, like this is, I was like, okay, now this makes more sense. So I was really following the story along with just going through the DLC. So DLC was pretty short. Obviously, you know, if you're good or not have to deal with the wolves pre-patch like me and Watts did, then you know, you'll breeze through it pretty quickly. You know, just kind of muscle memory.
How many hours y'all spent on
the
it?
deflecting thing? I would have to see. I would say between 10 to 12. I would say myself.
Oh, really?
I'd say it's probably. I might have been at like 20. I was trying. I probably respect 20 times to try all the different weapons. So I did do a little bit of stuff that I normally do where I go to a boss and I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see how this dex weapon is. Okay, cool. Let me see how this goes. So yeah, I think it was like 20.
To try hard, as you can see.
Oh, I might have to run this.
I normally use the things that aren't good. Yeah, it's pretty short, but they do also add they add a bunch of like challenge things where you can re-challenge bosses and all of that. So there is a lot of stuff for you to do.
But overall it was damn near flawless DLC. I'll give it a 9. I'm not going to knock it because of the difficulty, because they fixed it. So like if they didn't fix it and it was still, you know, if it was still at the same state, then I wouldn't be able to give it a 9. But I think DLC damn near flawless. So yeah, I give it a 9 for sure. It was great.
Wait, let me ask you.
What else was really good actually is one of the characters from the main game. Won't spoil it again because it's anyway. But one of the characters from the main game that you're like, damn, he's really cool. I want to see more of this character. They ended up showing you a lot more of that character, and the voice actors for that one and also another character. I know it's not going to happen, but I would put them as some of the best performances of the year, voice acting wise. It was insane. Some of the voice acting in the DLC is crazy.
Okay. Let me ask y'all a question then. Since they patched it and made it easier, when I get on this game, does it make my playthrough Mickey? Like, what do y'all think?
Technically,
no,
yeah, according to our rules,
I don't think so. No, you're playing it.
It's Mickey Wise. It's Mickey.
According to my rules, you're playing it before they put in difficulty settings. You'd be playing it as if they never put in difficulty settings. That's what I was.
I guess I'll get a pass. All right.
Polar opposite.
And I didn't use summons. So that was the whole reason why the argument happened is because people use summons. So I use no summons. I beat all the bosses by myself.
Okay. I'm having the polar opposite problem over at Expedition 33. The game was too easy and they made it harder. So I don't have to do the tower, but I want to do it because I got so damn far. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna finish it. I want to finish it. Yeah, I'm gonna.
You actually need to. Like, legit, I think if you don't finish the tower before you get to the end of the game, I think you're missing out on a huge context of the story.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm at the end. I'm at stage 10, number 3. So I got like 3 more levels to go. I should be able to finish it this week if I don't get stuck. What's the name? Ethos, did you get any time on Overture?
I haven't played Lives of P yet. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I won't play that. I asked Watts. I was like, "Can I play this before the base game?" And she was like, "No, play the base game first before you play the DLC."
They made it like Elden Ring.
You have to.
You have to. You have to get to a certain chapter in order to.
I was in New Game Plus 2 chapters behind, and I was like, "Oh no." So you know what I actually did with the difficulty settings? I dropped it to easy and speed ran to the DLC.
I do find it
There you go.
kind of ironic. The same, like the problem that the difficulty whole argument. It reminds me a lot of when Shadow of the Erdtree came out. Remember how people were complaining day one? Like it got mixed reviews when it first came out. People were saying it's too hard.
Gamers need to chill on these.
Yeah, they dumpstered the
review bombing for it being too
because of the fragments. Because we didn't know about the fragments and how they work. Yeah.
So people said the game was way too hard, and I mean this is kind of a little bit different because it doesn't seem like it's like there's not like a mechanic that makes the game easier. It's just it was just straight up just like they misbalanced it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But you remember that happened even earlier, Ethos. Remember when Sekiro came out, and people were that was my first, at least my first experience. What I seen, like it was a little bit louder when people were saying, I want the game to be easier so I can play it. And that's why I totally agree with Watts. That may be controversial to some people what Watts said, but I 100% agree in the Souls genre at least. Right. And I think at this point, since I've been playing so many Souls games, I kind of agree with her about the whole, taking away difficulties, period. Just give me the game. Like, I don't even care anymore. I'm not going to choose easy, normal, or hard. I just want to play the game. But we play so many Soul games, so it's kind of, I can't, like, I feel like it's a little bit like disingenuous to just say that overall. But for Souls games, I 100%. I don't want difficulty options.
So I'm like in the middle about it because, like, it's funny because this got kind of brought up again recently because Kojima also, since we're probably going to end up talking about Death Stranding 2 like probably right now. Yeah. Kojima brought up difficulty 2 recently with Death Stranding 2. And he's almost the reverse opposite of why am I blanking on his name? What's homeboy's name from FromSoft? Why am I blanking on his name now? Miyazaki, yeah. Which is Kojima's thought is that he intentionally added the easier mode and an easier mode on top of that. And his argument was kind of reversed, but I think it really depends on the type of game you're building, which for him, it does, for better or for worse, a lot of people say Kojima's like, oh, it's like a movie, right? So like he's like, well, I want people who are not necessarily gamers to be able to experience Death Stranding. So for me, it's a no-brainer that I want to put something in where like someone who's really bad at video games can play through my game. I want people to be able to like experience my story. But I think it's just really just comes down to the developer, like what your priorities are. I do agree. If you have a very set experience that you're trying to make your game like feel like, I think, like you shouldn't I don't feel like pressures outside of your studio should pressure you into minimizing that. I do agree with that. Right. I think a developer has a vision and people should respect that vision, whether it includes them or not. Right. Outside of like, obviously, like, I don't want black people playing my game. like I'm not something like that. But you know what I mean? But like in general, just like when it comes to like skill level, I do think that really, honestly, it's just to the developer. It's to what their vision should be. And I don't think anyone should interrupt or try to disrupt that vision. Right. Granted, people are going to do it anyways. Like, people are going to mod games the way they want them to do. Like, I have a reverse of this, which is it's kind of weird. I have this reverse argument with people when it comes to Cyberpunk, because the biggest thing that kind of annoys me is people hate first person for Cyberpunk. Like, it is the number one like annoyed thing that I think like a lot of people to this day. Like, even when they announced, like, oh, yeah, we're working on Cyberpunk, the second one, the number one thing that I would always see brought up is, you better add a third-person mode. You better add a third-person mode. And it was annoying to me that, like, the developers could come out and say, the director and the publisher, not publisher, the director and the developers could multiple times come out and say to you, I'm sorry, but that's not our vision. Like we believe that the immersive aspects of first person is the best way to do Cyberpunk, and that's why we're going to stick with. We're not going to add third person to it. And there'll be gamers who say you don't know what you're talking about, game developer. I don't care. I want third person in that game. So like it's weird. It's like it's so weird because like you can have like difficulty in this one area where people like we respect it, but then in other areas where it's like I want a third person camera, and if you don't do that for me, your game I'm never going to touch. Like I will not respect your vision for this game. I don't think the game's good, and I will refuse to play it. So. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like a give or take. I think it really just depends on people want certain things in their games and they're willing to argue with developers about them putting them in their games. And then there's other things that are like, no, developers should be allowed to do what they want to with the vision. So I don't know. What's the thing we always say, TBH? Gamers are hypocrites.
They don't know what they want. They just be yapping.
Sure.
It's like getting
they want one thing and then they'll do another thing. Yeah, so
it's like getting on a commercial flight and then telling the pilot, "No, I'll fly the plane." No, you're not, bitch. You're gonna get me killed.
I'll fly the plane.
That's what happened with the Overture DLC. Like you guys almost fucked it up, and they had to fucking fix the stuff or whatever. Or it's like saving up to buy a Hellcat and then complaining when you get it doesn't drive like your old Honda. Like, bro, you said you wanted a Hellcat. It's not going to control the same or whatever. So it's like, I think it is different, like what you said with the more story driven games. The thing with Kojima makes more sense with Death Stranding too. That's more story driven, so that's more just about enjoying the experience. It's really not about the challenge. But when the artist is making something very specific, where the challenge is like you have to experience the high of overcoming the obstacle. If you don't get that, then you're kind of missing the point of playing like those Souls type of games. And you have to go through you got to put your feet to the fire. You're going to have to experience that before you get that first high. You can't just, I think that's more of a societal issue that we're talking about right now. We sound old right now.
I think it is.
Like it's the instant gratification
it really
thing.
Is,
it's the instant gratification thing. I don't think it's go ahead.
No, even like Miyazaki has said, like the reason that he makes games the way that he makes them, like he's not trying to piss you off or make things like so frustrating. He's trying to give you that feeling after you overcome something. And he said in interviews, like more and more in the modern world, we don't have a lot of friction and pushback anymore. You don't even have to go to Google to figure the answer to something anymore. You can just ask AI to tell you what it is. You don't have to use any critical thinking or anything. So he's like, that is the experience that I'm trying to make, is I want you to have that feeling after you overcome something, and you can't have that feeling if there's nothing to overcome. So for him and what he's trying to do, and a lot of people who are following that type of game design, they're trying to create that experience. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
So question, what would you say to somebody who, because I've had conversations with people who've, they try to get in Souls, and I think it's involved in this idea of, because I tried to get one of my friends to play Sekiro, kind of like it was JG's boat, like the setting and the art style is what really captivates them. It's like, all right, I'm gonna give this a shot. But their biggest complaint about why they dropped it was they said, I felt at a certain point in the boss fight, I had seen all the boss had to offer, but they didn't like the grind aspect of, you know what I'm saying? Like once you've seen everything, the patterns, but it's like the execution part where maybe, for some gamers, that execution window is bigger for them compared to like us, or like for other people who are like really into it, who have played multiple Souls games. So they kind of, I feel like our time, it takes us to like nail down what the thing is, how the game's supposed to play, or how you're supposed to beat the boss, and then execute the time it takes you to execute. You're right. You've seen all the patterns, how it is. But then there's like a window of gamers who like, they hate that window where it's like, I'm just repeating the same pattern and I know what I have to do now. Like there's no more discovery to it. And it's just, I'm being annoyed by how much I have to keep repeating until I can like master it. Like, is there any hope for someone like that? Or do you just say like, okay, maybe it's just not for you? Like what TBH, you said, like, is it just at that point?
To that, I would say
your mindset can never adjust to that.
To that, I would say two things. The first is if you tried it and it's your first time and you realize you genuinely didn't like it after you really tried it. Because to be fair, I think my first Souls game was Sekiro, but my heart wasn't really 100% in it. I think I was just playing it because of the podcast, like the hype or whatever. So I wanted to talk about it. The first time I really sat down and I said, I'm going to do this shit, was Elden Ring. If that person is in that mindset of like, I'm going to do this, and they say they genuinely don't like it, I would just say, to you, what happened to saying, all right, I bought this game, I don't like it, it's not for me, but hey, at least I tried it? Because I think also, like, going back to what we were talking about earlier, some of it is a societal issue with like this instant gratification, and the other part of it is, I think it's also societal, is FOMO. Like, people just don't want to be left out of the conversation because they heard about how something is so great. Also, some people want to be contrarians. They heard something so great, so they want to dunk and shit on it, so they want to go try it. There's a bunch of different reasons, but for the main thing I would say to that person is, I was like, all right, you tried it, you realized you didn't like it, just ignore everything else. You don't need to comment on it. Because to be fair, the first Souls game I did try, I believe, was Dark Souls 2. I didn't like it. You never heard me talk about another fucking Souls game until Sekiro came out. And that's when everybody was like, we're going to try it for the podcast. And I even said, I think this is a good game. I just fucking suck. You could go rewind the tape. So I didn't knock no points because of that. But Elden Ring was the first time like, those people just like, it's not for you. And it's okay. For the other half, man, just go play something else. Stick to 2K. I don't know, man. Like, it's okay. It's fucking okay, dude. Like,
yeah, you don't need to go play something else all the time. Yeah, he dug Armor Core. He said he ain't like it, so
I said I didn't like it. And they said
I've always said
I stand on it.
I don't think these games are super hard. I think the problem is people are like, I can't summon, I can't use items, I can't use the heaviest armor, I can't just put all my points into like being able to have super heavy armor and a ton of health. The game gives you so many tools to use to make it be manageable for your specific skill level. Like, just because there's some guy with like 0 health and running a super glass cannon build and he can do that because he can dodge or whatever, he could parry, you don't have to do that same thing. Like, I genuinely don't think these games are that hard. They're meant to be satisfying after you figure out the combat puzzle, but I feel like anyone can do it. And then ultimately, if you're like, I don't like the process of perfecting my performance against a boss, then I don't think those games ultimately are for you. And there's so many games that are in that kind of setting that I think you could find one that better fits.
I think gaming has, since COVID had hit, there was a rise, there was a spike in PS4 sales, and you know, every game was going through the roof. And there's been a rise of what I've referred to as like the hardcore casual, which unfortunately this group of people are very vocal and loud. I've responded to some TikToks, like one dude said that you're a weirdo if you play single player games. You have people like this that are coming into the space, they don't know what they're talking about. And I think this might be controversial to say, but I think that Souls games are probably the closest to like old school pure gaming that we have today, versus if you look at like the new people coming in, they probably first started with like Fortnite or like Apex or something like that, or a game that has a bunch of microtransactions that just let you skip the line, that you don't really have to try. You could just buy your way to win, or buy a character, buy a skin or whatever. So if they're coming from games like that, those are their first experiences, it probably is jarring to hop on a game that's very old school. I feel like Souls is a harken back to like Battletoads or something like that, where like it wasn't no skip. You got to get fucking good. Like, what do you want me to say to you, bruh? Just say it's not for you and keep it moving. What happened to that? I think that's a deeper conversation. Why do you feel the need to put your stank ass opinion from Willacoochee, Georgia on everything? We don't care. People barely care about our opinions. You think that they're going to care about yours with your two little likes? It's not that deep. Just go play something you like. Then you can be happy or whatever.
Yeah, we're really getting into the psychology of thing, but yeah, I think TLDR for those people, FOMO was really getting to them, and I think that's just kind of what it is. FOMO and I'm not gonna lie, the community, the Soul community, like the OGs, are kind of toxic. I'm gonna add that as well. They are very toxic. So if someone is brand new and someone comes in your chat and says something is Mickey because you're doing it, then I don't think that'll feel very good as a new person. It's like, oh, I can't do this because you said that it's easy mode if I do it, instead of, hey, I'm giving all of these options in order to play however I want to play, and if I still get to the same objective, then it shouldn't matter technically. So I think the community also plays in that. It's just all the internet, but I mean, if you don't like the game, don't let FOMO, make you still want to play these type of games if you truly don't like it.
Yeah, I think like your first Souls game, like if somebody, let's say you are streaming, don't let them get to you. Like if it's your first Souls game, I'm gonna give you, because I want people to like X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna give you a pass however you want to play, but I'm not gonna lie, that second or third one, you got to get off that Mickey shit.
We'll never escape this. We'll never escape this.
But the first one,
the
first one, was hold on. When Cammy was fighting the fucking Tree Centennial, I was in there being in because I want you to like it. I'm not gonna be toxic. But
Cammy's a good example of this because Cammy's first time, we basically bullied her into Mickey. She's never played Elden Ring. First thing out of her mouth, I'm not gonna Mickey this. I'm not gonna use summon.
That was her personal choice. Nobody told her to do that. Nobody told her to do that.
And you know what it is? You know what it is?
Peer pressured her not to do that.
Hey, but
it's
she's
not
still
the
playing
Souls fans that are toxic. It's the newcomers that came with Elden Ring that are running around saying not to do stuff. That didn't happen nearly as much before Elden Ring.
Before then, the only thing I remember is back when I played Dark Souls 3, the only thing I remember people were talking about, oh, that's easy mode, was doing co-op. That was like the only thing I can think off the top of my head. Like maybe there's like more like buggy stuff you could pull off or builds, but I didn't really hear people on Dark Souls 3 talk about if you build your character this way, you're a scrub or something like that. I just heard it was like
no. It's a lot of that. Ethos. When I played Lies of P, when I was fighting the nameless puppet, there's a weapon in the call.
That's post Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's post Elden Ring. We're talking about before.
Before
Elden Ring. Like back when y'all were in it.
Yeah.
The only thing I heard in that community, maybe watch back, was co-op. That was the only thing where it was like, if you use co-op to spawn in someone to help you beat up on. Look, I ain't gonna lie, I won't front. I called my boy Anon to beat up Pontiff. We had to jump that. That was my op. I hated Pontiff. I could not solo that. I said, no, I can't do this. This man is pissing me off. I said, Anon, get on the game. We gotta beat his ass. We beat his ass. Look, people can say whatever they want. He was a pain in the ass. I always felt like that was like the one thing I heard Souls people talking about was like co-op was the big thing. But then, then Elden Ring comes out and they expanded the amount of ways you can express yourself. But now there's a tier, there's no tier list of expressing yourself as, well, this means you're cheating the game. It's big. Don't get me wrong. I personally, I get it. I a little bit, I don't even think it's jealousy. I think it does upset me that I was over here busting my ass trying to beat somebody in a fair kind of way. And this motherfucker over here doing a blood build and force smacking a boss that I had to spend actually like strategic. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the problem is some stuff in Elden Ring, you have to kind of use your brain to beat a boss with. There's some things in Elden Ring that like, blood build back in the day and others and certain other things that there's no skill involved, right? It was just, I smacked the boss 4 times and I'm using a busted
It's the difference between you running a fade with someone in real life and and you and your friends jumping somebody.
Pulling a gun out and just shooting.
Or pulling a gun.
It's like, you both get the job done. But it's like, who really like put in the work? Yeah, you fist cuff somebody and the other dude pulled a gun out and shot him. Like, it's like, yeah, you both got the same result, but I guess that's kind of like the difficulty thing. Like, is that the same thing?
Well, that's what I was going to say, Ethos. Ultimately, this conversation shows you that these games don't need difficulty settings because we just named like 17 things that you can use to make the game easier. So you don't need an easy mode.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So is that the difficulty we found? Like, is that the friendship we found along the way? Is that difficulty then? It's just if you make your game expressive, right, through its mechanics and allowing you to express yourself through that many mechanics, people are going to still tier you on how good or bad you are.
There's a reason why people say Elden Ring is the easiest because depending on how you play, it can be easy or it can be hard. It's how you express yourself and how you play the game. The problem is, and it goes back to psychology, as JG said, it's the instant gratification thing. Like, you have to go find that Kamehameha beam. You got to go find that mimic tier. And these people don't want to do it because they can just buy stuff in Apex or buy stuff in 2K.
We saw people just magically finding stuff, magically. They got this, they got this weapon and this weapon.
I went to Caelid and found the gravity staff all by myself.
I just personally think it was different when I was day one and we all dropped in Caelid and we didn't know what the hell was happening to us and we had to just find these things out or just share them with each other's friends. But now we got people playing it who they got the whole build. They know what they got to go find, the certain weapons, and they know how to go do it.
Yeah, it is different.
I'm sorry. I told somebody this before. Me personally, I find it, some people try to argue, some of my friends try to argue with me. I personally find it insane that someone could play Elden Ring blind for the first time, before the game came out, like a reviewer. I would find it insane to try to figure out how the hell I was supposed to resolve some of those quest lines, like to do certain things in the game without any help. Like, no guide, no nothing, no word of mouth.
How did you know to say and collect that item and bring it back? How did you know that?
Yeah. Or Ronnie's storyline. Like, how can you tell me someone could intuitively figure that out. You know what I mean? Without any sort of like, hey, like I feel like a lot of it was like word of mouth. I just don't believe that. People will say, "Oh, I would have figured out." I just don't believe them. There's already enough people who don't read tutorials, so I have a hard time believing you're gonna intuitively figure out some of Elden Ring's like more complex quests. I just don't believe it. So
TBA's
gotta read the lore.
tutorials,
whatever.
And then he'll mess up in the game, and then it'll become a clip.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't believe when people will literally go in the chat and they'll like also tell TBH to do certain things, and they won't even explain how to do it correctly. Because they're just like piggybacking off of what other people.
They watch the Rad.
Like,
Oh my god! Yeah, they never done it themselves.
Oh my god! When Watts was playing, was it Kazazan? Oh my god! The amount I would just sit in the chat just like this, like just watching people, just trying to basically backseat Watts, like, well, you gotta go do this. I'm just sitting there like Watts is like, or when she was playing Liza P, when I was like, bruh, I was like, Watts, you need to make me a mod because I tell some of these people just to shut the hell up. I was just I'd be like, yo, shut up.
Too.
Let her just figure it out.
The number of people who told me I couldn't beat Liza P with the Puppet Ripper, it's too slow. Or was it Jedi Survivor? I like the heavy blade. God. You need to get off the heavy blade and use the twin blades because it's fast. I beat it, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You're just not good,
bro, against this boss. Yeah.
It's in the game. You can win. I think they tested it. God damn. Like, and I think the worst part about the community too is where I get frustrated is never that I'm losing. It's the fact that I've never played a genre game or done anything where I take accountability for something and people get upset with me. Like, matter of fact, it's happening in Expedition 33 on the harder bosses. Yo, you need to use this pick though or do that. No, I need to parry and time better. It's literally my fault. No, TB, you need to. I'm taking accountability. What are we doing here? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get the psychology of that shit.
Dude, I said the same thing. I was like, I can defeat any boss in Expedition 33 if I parry every single move. Mm-hmm. Even if it takes me like 7 hours doing like 1 damage, right? Every single boss in that game is beatable by simply just parrying. So, stop
crazy times. But I mean, either way, seems like overall y'all like the game. How much is it? Was it 20, 30 bucks? How much was it?
Yes.
Wow, we was on Liza P. My bad.
We was talking about Liza P.
Yeah, I think 30.
It was a whole
look
thing.
it up real quick.
I think it was 30.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 30 bucks.
Okay.
30 bucks.
I don't know why I thought it was like 30, 40 hours. I'm probably going to run that next since you said it's 10 to 12. We just run through that.
Yeah, no, not a long game at all. I was like, once I got to 10, I was like, okay, I beat it. I was like, but it was great though. It was a great experience.
I feel like it was getting pushed back for me, but if that's short, I'm gonna run through it.
You can keep pushing it back.
Yeah, I feel like nobody's talking about that game. I feel like nobody's talking about it.
I'm not gonna lie, they kind of fell off the radar. Yeah,
unfortunately,
I played it. Watts manipulated me. I was like, "Watts, is this good?" She was like, "Yeah, you know it."
Yeah,
it gets the job done. I was like, "Oh, okay." I played it for like 4 hours, and I turned it off. I have not booted it back up since. I was like,
the music is not hitting, man. The music,
I think the music
like,
plays a huge factor. Yeah,
it's a huge part of it. Like that, I liked Doom because of the soundtrack is like 50% of my enjoyment of the game, I guess. And now it's just like in the background, just like
yeah.
When I played Eternal, I do remember like bobbing my head.
I don't feel like God's chosen soldier. Yeah,
like, I'm into.
I don't feel like God's like favorite soldier when I'm playing it. Yeah, I don't. It's kind of like okay, it's just there.
What's the name? You and I didn't get to play Overture, but we did get to play some Splitgate 2 Ethos, which is the follow-up to Splitgate, which is a combination of Halo's gun mechanics with Portal. And you can put portals all across the map and teleport to get positions on your enemies and get kills. Splitgate 2 just recently came out in the last month. It's free to play pretty much on every major platform, plus it has cross-play. It has a new BR mode as well as a bunch of other different modes, skins, battle passes. I think the movement is way more faster too. How do you feel about, give me the good, bad, and ugly on it, Ethos, Splitgate 2, for the little bit you played.
The gunplay is good. Movement's solid. I constantly kept saying, I don't feel like the portals are as viable. I wouldn't even say viable. I don't feel like they were as needed in this game compared to the first one. Like in the first game, I felt like I needed to use portals a lot more for movement and stuff like that. This game feels like it's like you could play completely without portals. Like it's completely like it's not a necessary part of the toolkit. You could just I don't feel like it and just play get like some sort of movement shooter and just be perfectly fine. Which makes me wonder if that was like intentional to try to like pull in that more like COD audience that wouldn't be trying to do that stuff. The game feels like the game feels like Black Ops 3. It reminds me about the movement feels just like Black Ops 3. The jump feels exactly like Black Ops 3. It feels more like COD than it does Halo, really. But it still has like that Halo. I don't know how to describe it. Like the gunplay feels more like Halo, but the movement doesn't feel like Halo. The movement feels more like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. That's the good, I guess. Like the game modes are pretty solid. I don't like the BR. That's kind of goes in the negatives. I found it not only was like it had some optimization issues, but after a certain while, I kind of was like, I think I'm just done with BRs. I just don't care for the mode anymore. And then I guess the worst of it was I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty fun watching a speed run of watching a CEO like sync their game before it came out. That was pretty funny. I think it's a good. I honestly think it's a good lesson. I think a lot of like I was writing notes too. I was like, okay, don't do that. I think it was like really fascinating to watch. Someone who like which is funny that no one has said this about this game is anytime a game will like be woke, they'll say they're pandering to them. They're pandering. I don't want video games pandering to people, right? I feel like this game was like a perfect example of pandering and watching it backfire on you. I'm not gonna say that what he did during the summer awards, his like whole presentation. I'm not gonna say that's the single thing that sunk his game, but I do think it was ironic that I think he lacked the level of awareness to think, okay, outside of just the political idea, the political satire aspect of it, I feel like it was kind of hilarious that he also not only did that go over his head as the CEO, but he also didn't even consider the idea of, oh man, I'm going to be catering to an audience of dude bro gamers, or even catering to me with Titanfall, and not realizing that audience doesn't like BR. Like that whole audience hates Battle Royale. Like we want the old school arena shooter team deathmatch. That is the arena type of format we do. And then for you to come out on the stage and be like, BR, that's our big announcement. Like that's the big thing he's on the stage for is BR and that it's out. And then the whole microtransaction thing. I mean, we kind of always knew that was going to happen because it's like it's free to play, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, it's a free to play game. So it's like what you expect. But then to be like through Call of Duty, they're not as good as they used to at Halo. They're not as good. Like, not only have you like made yourself a bad look on like other people in the industry, because a lot of people in the industry kind of like they try to like talk to each other and they kind of they don't. I don't really see a lot of people in the industry really don't take stabs at each other. They kind of seem to be more like uplifting because they kind of all mutually understand it's difficult to make games. And they're all like, "Yo, I get it. Shit happens," or they all like get mad about how publishers screw up what they wanted to make. But like for him to be like, oh, I'm gonna attack Call of Duty and that, it just feels very immature. And for all that to come together and then be like all these multiple, it wasn't really like one thing, but like these little things where it's like, well, congratulations with the make FPS great again. You've now alienated a part of your potential audience. And then the microtransactions, you've now alienated another part of it. And now the Battle Royale, you've now alienated another group of potential audience members. He's basically caused 3 different groups of people to not like him and become unlikable. So yeah, not a good look, but I do think any CEO that wants to be outgoing needs to watch that video. And I think it also proves why a lot of people hate fucking CEOs of game companies. I think it proves they're out of touch. They're out of fucking touch. And I think it's a great example of someone who was completely out of touch, who just completely just flopped. He made a big mistake. And now he's paying for it. His studio, unfortunately, is paying for it because I think there's some great people on that team because they made a pretty solid game. But to see them get hit for it, I will give him respect. I respect that he was like, I will take a cut of my own pay to try to limit how much this is going to impact their studio. That's respectful, but I think we all see the writing on the wall. I wouldn't be shocked if before the end of this year, that game's going to get announced to be put on life support. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, after only the first month, reports came out already. As of July 2nd, the player base is down 80%. Which is unfortunate because this is one of those rare cases where I do feel like the game is good and it has potential. I genuinely like this game. Like it's like Ito said, the CEO provided.
No, hold on. Before you say that, bro, go ahead and give your guess. hold on. But just for ethics, we're ethical people here. First of all, give your disclaimer first.
What's my disclaimer?
Your disclaimer where you're not paid by Splitgate.
Oh yeah, I was. But to be fair, first of all, I disclaimed that during the stream. But to be fair, I was playing the game before.
I know. I'm just saying here because we don't want. Yeah. I'm just saying we don't want.
Well, anybody. I'm
not trying to do this as a gotcha on you. Yeah.
I don't think you were anyway because even though I did get paid, I'm about to dunk on them.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck, bro. What's in that?
Yeah, I know. Because that's the thing. But people start yapping. Oh, so, he's dunking on them, but he got paid.
To be fair,
I'm not trying to be like you're trying to hide it or something.
When this game came out, I was already looking forward to it. I had already been playing it for a week, and then they reached out to me and they asked me to do a sponsored stream. So I was like, sure, I'm already streaming the game, so it was free money. But after the CEO came out on stage and said all that dumb shit, he killed this game. And I'm not gonna lie, if there's no players playing your game, I'm not gonna play that shit either. So like you said, it's a masterclass in what not to do. For those unaware, the CEO got on stage during Summer Games Fest and wore a hat that said "Make FPS great again." I just don't know why he did that. Naturally, that pissed, and whether you agree with it or not, that pissed some people off because they thought that was a political statement. And then the microtransactions, I think they said the battle pass was like $100 or some shit like that. They said they were going to drop the price. It was just misstep after misstep, and I was like, bro, you got a good game. Like the foundation's there, but everything else was clearly an afterthought, and there was clearly no reason to throw all those game devs under the bus. Oh, we're so much better than all these other games. But then, like he said, your big reveal was a BR mode. I didn't like that shit either. What I will say I liked and disliked. I disagree with you. I don't think it moves like Black Ops 3. I think it moves more like Advanced Warfare. It feels like a mix between Advanced Warfare and Halo. Which was the one with the backpacks where it went shh? That's what it felt like.
Advanced Warfare was the one where it was like zigzag. It was like you hit a button.
Which one was the future one where you were moving like that? Which one was that?
That's Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was the one where like you tapped it. It was like a curve. That's how it feels. It's literally Black Ops 3 system.
Chat, we've reached the point where there's so many goddamn Call of Duties.
That's one that you like. You were like, this is what Titanfall was. Like,
okay, well maybe it is Black Ops 3. Okay.
Advanced Warfare was one you did not like. That was the one where it was like, yeah, you'd hit a dash and it would be like an immediate like boom, 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 boom. Like it was very forced. This one's more like a woo, like you can like
the movement does feel like one of the damn Call of Duties, like one of them. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, you're thinking Black Ops 3. You're thinking about
it's more woo woo woo.
Yeah.
I do like
it's
how
more woo-woo.
Yeah. That's fucking funny. I like that you can the movement is so fast and fluid in the game. You can get across the entire map, and I think that kind of leans more into what Ethos said. It makes it feel like the portals are not necessary because the movement wasn't that fast in the first game. But I would say I disagree. I do think the portals are necessary for certain game modes and not others. So for like TDM, no. But for like the team, the objective-based modes where you had to hold down positions and stuff like that, oh yeah, the people were using portals and shooting through them, like they put them behind you. So like you get strategic with it. I would say that it wasn't as prominent as the first game because the pacing was faster. So I think the foundation was there. It's just the business practice sucked and the CEO is an idiot. And ultimately, I think they're going to kill their game because there's more competition than ever. And you did it to yourself. As long as the check clears, I don't give a fuck.
Also, another thing about him, the other thing about him that I found like I was like, this is sus, was when he started to go into damage control about the microtransactions. This is just something personally I can speak on. I can speak with authority here. I can speak with authority on this one. This is why I'm not gonna call him a liar, but he is lying. He is lying on this. When he said, I did not know that we were going to have microtransactions that were $100. I call bullshit. And I would put a parlay on him calling bullshit on that. Because I know from my personal experience and talking with other people that there is no way on God's green earth you are CEO of a company. Mm-hmm. You are literally in charge of making sure that business makes money, that your company is going to make money. And you did not know what the monetization, you cannot blame it on a monetization lead and not have at least seen a pitch deck, a report. Yes, you'd have to sign off on it. And on top of that, if you're pitching your game to publishers, you would have in the pitch deck how this game is supposed to make money. So you would know how much you were going to make it and the different formats of how you make that money. I call bullshit. That was the one thing that was the thing I forgot. That was the thing that really irked me about him, was all the other stuff aside. That was the one thing where it was like, this is, in my mind, this is inexcusable. To like throw a developer that you're like, I hate when publishing people and CEOs and business people do this bullshit where they scapegoat. They pick somebody that's like, oh, this was a person. Bungie did this with their whole marathon problem. Oh, this was a person that was on the team, but now miraculously they're not on the team. They haven't been on the team for a while. It's like it's just a bullshit. It's such bull. You can just smell the bullshit. It's like, so we can't figure out who this person is because they've been gone apparently for a while. You're never gonna tell us who the name of this person is for good reason. You don't want them to deal with like, getting targeted. But at the end of the day, to like throw it off on somebody that's like, oh, this is a person that's not on our team anymore. They haven't been on our team for a while, and it's their fault. And now you can't put it on us because they're not part of the company anymore. I just find that as bullshit, and it's a lack of accountability, which is terrible. So that I call bullshit. That was the thing that really irked me. I couldn't remember what it was, but that was the thing that was like, kind of like respectfully, go fuck yourself. Yeah.
Not is he a liar about that, but like he fails to realize if by the grace of God he's able to fund another video game and create another one. Me personally, if I'm a new up and coming game dev or even a veteran and I need a job, I'm probably not applying to your studio because in the back of my head, I know if this shit goes south, you're gonna throw me under the bus. You're not gonna take accountability. So I don't think I think he fucked himself over in the long run, unfortunately. And it's crazy because all this happened in like the span of like a week, I think. And we see the results.
Ready to put the fries in the bag, bro.
Oh yeah.
Watts or JG, do y'all have any thoughts on Splitgate 2?
I did not play Splitgate 2. I played the first one. I have no interest in the second one. No interest.
I thought about playing it until the CEO just went off the rails, and I was like, yeah, I'll pass. And I saw that BR mode too, and I was like, is this BR? I was like, is this really BR in here? Like, out of all the game modes, you put that in there, and I was like, I'm good. I'm good on this game.
Did you do any R&D for you to get on stage? Because don't it cost like $500,000 to get on stage at one of these game shows?
They spent a lot of money on that.
You spent a lot of money to get on stage and say the big new feature we got is a game mode that's been dead for probably 3 years now. BR? Like, I don't know, man.
Like we're way past that meta. We're in the Souls meta. Like, catch up. Like, I don't know where you been at.
At least could have had an extraction mode. I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have understood because a lot of people are making extractions. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that would have made a little bit more sense. But still, like Gate 2, no, I don't think that has a place in your game.
Let's switch topics to a game I think only Watts on the podcast is probably going to play. Death Stranding 2. I don't know anything about this game other than it's the second one in Kojima's FedEx delivery game. You were saying that a lot of people were saying that this is going to be game of the year. Do you feel the same? Like, give us the good, bad, and the ugly on this one.
Yes. So I haven't finished it because I had I had a couple days to play before other things came out. But I'm at about, I want to say 24 hours or something like that. So I'm a decent ways in there. It's basically the first one, but everything is just done a lot better. So they introduce you to different elements of the game a lot faster. So you're introduced, of course, to, delivering packages, but they introduce you to stealth gameplay against other people, gameplay against the BTs, all like pretty quickly. So you get a really good idea of what the game actually is instead of being like 20 hours in and you're like, oh, now I'm going to go fight my first big BT boss. So you get to fight some pretty cool stuff very quickly. They also give you interesting tools quicker and access to like building roads and monorails and all this stuff a lot faster. And the story is just better paced. Like it just feels like you're hitting important story stuff at a better pace. And man, it's one of those games where if you watch it, you're like, why would I like this game? But it's the way that the game is made that is gets you so engrossed in the world and the character that is just kind of special. Like, I'll just give you an example from the very opening so I don't spoil anything, but you're on this like big mountain cliffside, and as you're walking, you can feel the different terrain beneath your feet in the controller. So as you're walking, you go over rocks, you can feel that. You can feel every single thing. You can feel the raindrops. You can feel like thunder happening in the controller. So that's all super immersive. And then you'll hit like a certain part of the walk and it'll pull the camera back and music will start. And Kojima is actually really good for crediting music artists and actors and voice actors like right there in the game, which I do really appreciate. And it's just this kind of experience where you're like, yeah, it gives you this feeling that you don't get in every game. And then there's also like the social aspect to it, which is very Dark Soulsy, actually, where, you know, you're seeing signs from other people, you're helping like build things with other people, and people will give you likes and you'll leave them a like. And when you hear that, you're like, why would I care about that? But it does feel good. Like when you're playing the game and in the corner it says like 300 people liked your shelter or something, you're like, yeah, I put that there because there's some dangerous things there and I thought you might appreciate it. So it just feels good. Game of the year, I think it's going to be really hard for anything to beat Expedition 33 for me, but I have been playing it, Death Stranding 2, and gone, I can understand why people would feel like that. It's doing some pretty cool stuff. It's a very cool game.
Also, Kojima is really cool with Jeff. We can't ignore that. There's some politics here.
Well, no, we don't have to worry about that because last time, when the first game came out, everyone was thinking the same thing, and then ended losing to Sekiro.
True.
Yeah, because remember last year it was feeling like, you know, Kojima was just gonna, you know, let Death Stranding just win everything at the Game Awards, but then I think Death Stranding walked away with like only like 2 things.
I think the difference,
and then like Sekiro ended up like flopping.
I think the difference is Sekiro came from a big studio. Like Expedition 33 is a new studio with 30 people. I can see that.
No, I call bullshit. I don't care about that. I forgot to mention, I played it too. I bought the game. I've been playing it too. Same as
you didn't say that before. My bad.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just playing it by myself. I wasn't really like, you know, I asked Watts. I said, Watts, is worth me playing? She was like, yeah, I trust Watts' opinion. I was like, all right, I'll pick it up because I didn't have anything else to play right at that time. I agree with Watts. I did play the first game. I quit the first game after a certain point because I was like, I can't do this shit no more. And then I played the director's cut because I heard they had done some pacing things. I hated the pacing of Death Stranding, the OG one. I hated the pacing of that game. The director's cut, when it came on PC, I played it all the way again. I was able to get way farther, and I think I basically beat the game. This game, I do agree with Watts. I think I that's even why I put it on my parlay. I was like, I think that Kojima understands, well, a couple things. I think that people know the reason why the first game got so much attack. I guess why it got attacked so much was Kojima was very secretive and mysterious about this game, and no one knew what the fuck it was. So obviously he has all the pedigree, and then obviously when it comes out, people are like, this is walking? You know what I mean? Like, because people didn't know what type of game it was, it got a lot of flack for that. And I think that's why it's like review score was like kind of like it's pretty good, but there was like some review scores were like, yo, this shit is ass. It was a very decisive game. This one though, I think like it has the grace that because it's already set the precedence of the game before of what type of game it is. It feels unfair someone buying and reviewing this game and being shocked that you're moving packages or that you're walking. Like, it feels like almost deceptive, right? It's like, you should know this is a sequel to the first game. You should know what type of game this is. But you could definitely tell he took a lot of feedback to heart about like what were some of the pain points of people who were at least interested in at least like the world and were trying to get into it, but they felt the way the story was written or the pacing of it was not that great, or that there was too much monotonous stuff happening. You can see it like in the director's cut and too, like the way he added like certain new quality of life things, new equipment, new like things that you can build to help like speed up your process. It's about, if the whole game's like efficiency. That's all it is. It's like, how efficient can I be at moving stuff? I will say I think it is a little bit disingenuous, and I saw it on Twitter. I do think it's a little disingenuous to call the game a walking simulator, especially the second one. First one, you can kind of, maybe that's pushing it, but you could kind of say it. But the second game is like, there's way more combat in this. I do agree with Watts, though. I do think, I'm not all the way done, but I think I'm like 3/4 there with the story. Like I feel like I'm getting closer to like a conclusion. I will say, though, that there are some pretty, unless you are a Kojima stan, you know those people, the people that like love everything he's done, love Metal Gear, love that. I think I could easily see those people, and that's not a knock to them. I could see how you could play this game and be like, this right here is game of the year. But I agree with Watts. I think not only from a studio standpoint, of like storytelling standpoint, of just like the accomplishments of this game, Death Stranding 2, I think, does play it a little bit too safe. And I mean that by like, if you play the first game, I feel like it's kind of hard to not criticize the game, that I feel like it's too repetitive of the original plot points of Death Stranding 1. And it's almost funny because like the way that it reveals its story to you is almost exactly the same. Like the same way they had like Mad's character Cliff, like how they reveal him, it's a 1-to-1 copy of that. Even the boss fight's almost a 1-to-1 copy. The same type of setup, teleporting to a different place, and then you're fighting the same type of bosses. And I don't know if there's other boss fights, but I've always been critical of Death Stranding's boss fights. I don't think they're that good. I think they're very I don't think they're really that engaging. Like it's just shoot, throw grenade, jump, and a lot of them are very repetitive. And I think those are like my two criticisms that I can like easily throw at this game. And I feel like most people would be like, okay, that's fair. But I do think this one story is what's keeping me engaged. Like, compared to like Death Stranding 1 was also the same way. Like I do think the world is very fascinating, and I don't think it's as complex as people try. Like people try to make it seem like it's Kingdom Hearts level of like, what the hell am I? But it's not. Like you can kind of understand. Like if you're just paying attention, you can kind of understand, grasp what the universe is and how it functions. But it will sometimes. I do like. Even though I understand how the universe functions, I do like that sometimes they'll throw a curveball every once in a while. I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, that leaves me some new questions. But I do think, do I think it deserves a nomination for what I played? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's Kojima. He did a good job. Like, I'm not gonna, like, good pat on the back. Like, it's a good game. It's a great game. But it's not a game that, again, that I think, like, a majority of mainstream people, like, enjoy. But I do think it deserves a nomination, but I agree with Watts. Still, from what I played, unless like the finale of this Death Stranding 2 is so like mind-blowing to me, I just still don't think it's enough to beat Expedition. I really don't. So there you go.
Are you trying to argue this is Death Stranding 1.5? Because that's what it sounded like you described.
It feels like 1.5. Like it. The way I describe it, I hate to do this. I'm going to describe it in Mass Effect fan terms. It doesn't feel like Mass Effect 1 to 2. It feels more like Mass Effect 2 to 3. Yeah. And for people who play Mass Effect, they'll understand exactly what that like level of like sequel feels like. They'll understand exactly.
Or it's not Assassin's Creed 1 to 2. It's Assassin's Creed 2 to 3. Same thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's probably
it's more like 2
that.
to 3. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's like there's enough here that it doesn't feel like a DLC, but at the same time, it's not enough where it's like this is pushing, this is pushing a whole brand new level. I do think, and I'm willing to put, yes, it's a very safe game, but I think in some areas it still has that uniqueness to it, which I like. Like there's some shit in this game, like, which I agree with. I can spoil Death Stranding for you. I can show you a cutscene right now, and you wouldn't understand what the hell you're watching. Like that's one thing that's very cool about his game is like I saw spoilers of Death Stranding on my TikTok, and I didn't know what the hell was on. I saw somebody with a guitar. I saw a little puppet dancing. I was like, what the hell am I watching? And none of it makes sense out of context. But then when you get the context, you're like, oh, okay, no, this makes perfect sense now. But one thing I will say, I'm willing to put a bet down is I have a very sinking feeling, a very funny suspicion that I think the same thing happened with Spider-Man 2 with Baldur's Gate. I think it's going to repeat history's going to repeat itself again, and Death Stranding is going to be the Spider-Man 2. I think people who have not played Expedition 33 are going to just assume Death Stranding 2 is going to win. And then if Expedition, which I highly believe, I think it's going to win. If Expedition wins Game of the Year, there's going to be an outcry of very funny people who are crying about it not getting Game of the Year. I think we're going to have a repeat of that. So that's my little like bet I have on myself.
Maybe it's my For You page, but I don't see nobody talking about Death Stranding 2. And I'm talking about all my social media For You pages.
It was a lot when the game first came out, but I think now it's kind of
I still feel like people are talking about
like it's kind of like the people who are fans. Yeah, I don't. It's weird. I think that Death Stranding is a very niche game. I even hate to say that because it's Kojima. It doesn't make sense. It has a niche content creator circle, I guess. Like,
no, two things can be true. Like Metal Gear is not niche, but you could say this game is because it's a new IP. What's the second in the franchise, but it's not as big as Metal Gear. So you could call it Death Stranding.
It's niche. Weird when I say that with Kojima because I feel like it's kind of weird to call a Kojima game niche. You know what I mean? Like that seems kind of weird to me.
I feel that.
I don't know. It's like saying, oh, Kojima is an indie studio, like Kojima Productions. It's like saying that's an indie studio, which I've seen people argue against Expedition 33. Like, oh, no, granted, I agree. It's an independent studio, but the amount of money and financial backing that studio has and access to support they have from Sony and other studios it's not even relatively close. People trying to make that argument, but I don't know.
Like you're an indie studio
it's
just by title, but you're not really indie.
You are technically, yes. You are not beholden to a certain publisher. True. But your name recognition makes publishers bow to you. Like they will give you whatever you need. So that's like a little bit different when an indie is like, you're punching up a lot. You're like trying to prove your worth to a lot of different entities.
You're not begging for resources or just trying to scrap it together.
I am excited for whatever he's doing movie wise. Whether it's a Death Stranding Netflix thing, I think they're working on that.
I feel like
that has me really excited because I've always said You said what?
I feel like I'd rather watch this. Like, would you say that? I kind of agree. I don't know if I want to play it.
I don't
watch it, maybe.
I don't blame you at all. I think like this game could have been turned into a movie, and I think it would have been considered a masterpiece of movie. Like, I think I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of people would watch it and be like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" Like, it wouldn't shock me at all. But he's doing it now, so I would definitely like. I said before, I think this is like one of those games. Where like, if this was a movie or a TV show, I would love it. I'd be one of my favorite pieces of media. But I think it is weirdly because there is an interactive piece to it. It kind of makes it weird for me. So, but I think. If you're interested in it, and you know what type of game it is, I'd say try it. I'd say play it. I've actually had fun, more fun than Death Stranding. I wouldn't say I had fun. I don't think I'd ever think I had fun playing Death Stranding 1, but Death Stranding 2, I could genuinely say without me like trying to be like zealous, just like I know I had fun. I'm having fun playing it. So.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with Death Stranding. The one thing that they did, I think, really differently was like the combat that they have in it. Like you can unlock full ass kung fu combos that you can do on enemies. You can like jump and kick them and grab them, throw them on the floor, and you can also like get on your it's not a skateboard, your package holder that you can turn into a skateboard. You can like jump off of cliffs and you can fly down on top of enemies. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to say anything further unless you got that.
Yeah.
But yeah. You got like
there's some crazy stuff.
Skating or something. Yeah, there's some cool stuff.
There's some crazy stuff that's in there that you can do that is fun in a game. I wouldn't be surprised if mechs were in the game. There's a mech boss.
Kojima, put mechs as a way I can deliver tools. I love the monorail idea. Just let us make some mechs. If you let me build a mech, like an AC mech that I can like use to transport goods, I'm sold. Somebody make that game. Matter of fact, let me write that down. Use a mech to transport goods.
While he writes that down, let me know.
I do like delivering packages.
Will you be delivering any packages, Jay?
Nah. It's like I'm not gonna let what people are saying about this game get to me. It's the same thing with Baldur's Gate for me. Like I just realized that we going back to that conversation. It's just not for me. Like I tried with Death Stranding 1, and even though Watts and Ethos were saying, hey, the plot is unraveling quicker, you're able to get to things quicker, I still watch someone deliver packages and try to Tetris their way to not lose their packages. And I still said, hey, this does not look fun for me. Like, I think that this game is, I think this is the true definition of an interactive movie, but the interactive part just doesn't appeal to me. So again, like TBA said, I would much rather want to watch this just as a movie. So I'll watch other people play it. I just want to go through the cutscenes and stuff. But I just have no interest in playing the game.
You used to be a Kojima fan. Like, didn't you love Metal Gear and stuff? Am I wrong?
Yes,
tripping on that?
I love Metal Gear. Metal Gear Revengeance is one of my favorites, even though that's off the canon pad. But I love that. Yeah, Metal Gear 2 and 3 are probably my favorites in the genre. 4 I barely played.
You must really like the story.
I know that's shocking.
Yeah, the story is amazing. There was one thing. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid 1 on a demo disc, and I was like, I fucking suck at this game. But I ended up renting it afterwards, and I tried it, and I said, there's something about this game, even though I'm terrible at stealth, then maybe just keep playing. I just played through all of them. So I don't know. It was just something about it. The story did captivate me.
You see how easy it is to just say that something is not for you. It'll save everybody a headache if you just, don't let your intrusive thoughts win, guys. It's that simple. So that's what we got for you for the gaming conversations. Let's shift over to the gaming news side of the podcast. And one of the biggest games left to come out in 2025 is Ghost of Yote. And Sony recently just did a state of the play where the game fully was revealed with a 20-minute demo where it broke down and showed off the open world, the character, its weapons, its mechanics, gave a little bit of idea what the story was about, a full-blown walkthrough, which is good because a lot of people were scared this wasn't going to come out because it was supposed to come out this fall and nobody had seen it. We finally have seen it. It's definitely coming out, and I want to hear, did it impress you? Ghost of Yote, Watts.
Yes. I feel like Sucker Punch has been listening in on my conversations, watching me in my house, and targeted me directly. They made a game that I'm like, yep, all of that. I like all of it. So first of all, it's beautiful, right? It looks great. Ghost of Tsushima has such a cool art style, and they continue to have a really great art style. They continue to somehow manage to make an open world game where you're able to do whatever you want, feel cinematic no matter what you do, which I think is really impressive. But they've kind of changed combat a bit because in Ghost of Tsushima, you were obviously a samurai who was then trying to save your homeland and maybe doing things in a dishonorable way. So you had stances, which made sense for you being a samurai. But Atsu is not a samurai. They said that she's like a lone wolf who uses every dirty trick that she can to win. So she, instead of having stances, she has access to a bunch of different weapons. So you're going to be able to switch between the kusarigami, the odachi, katana, dual blades, and a spear. So that's cool. It's cool that you're switching between different weapons. You still have the thing of like, there's going to be certain weapons that are good against certain enemies. So you might be doing a bit of matching there, but they have like completely different playstyles, which I thought was cool. Besides that, I mean, I think all the fashion looked great. That looked awesome. It looks like it's more of what I loved in Ghost of Tsushima, but just bigger and more of it. And they also announced some extra modes that they're adding to Ghost of Yote, which is crazy because in Ghost of Tsushima, we had the black and white mode where you could feel like you're in an old school samurai movie. But now they're adding two more. They're adding one, which is the Mike mode, where the camera is closer and then there's more blood and more mud. So for combat, I think that's going to be pretty cool. And then they're also working with Shinichiro Watanabe, who is one of the people behind Samurai Champloo music, to put in like lo-fi Samurai Champloo setting for you to play with. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it. I cannot believe that was a thing that they actually managed to do. I think it's crazy. Oh, it's so good. So many people's like reason why like Lo-Fi Girl exists or why people even know that Lo-Fi is a thing is because of Nujabe's work on all of these shows. So I was like, damn, they actually got the guy to do something for the game. That's crazy. So for me, I'm very excited. I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I took so many pictures, sneaking around, doing all of the standoffs. So good. So I cannot wait.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like what I saw. I think the game is flat out gorgeous. Just the use of color. I love games that are super vibrant. The action looks really good. I like all the different weapons, especially she's going to be able to hold that big BBC blade. You know I'm wielding that. Going to be bonking people upside the head. I like what you were talking about with the lo-fi stuff, the little weeb mode, which is interesting because I saw on Twitter some people criticizing and saying that's woke, that they're putting hip-hop into the samurai game. And I'm like, but it's coming from an anime producer. Like, I what do you guys want? Like, Japanese
those
people can't cut it out.
Don't deserve.
I swear to God, I saw that, JG.
There's no way. There's no way.
Do they not know the history of hip hop and like samurai culture, like in like Japanese like culture, like how it's been always like a fusion with each other? What the fuck is
casuals again? These casuals infiltrating and being loud with their dumbass opinions. Have you not seen Samurai Champloo? We regard that as one of the best animes ever, and it's mostly because of the music in that anime. What are you talking about here?
No,
jazz
I've learned Japanese people can't appreciate hip hop.
What jazz? Yeah, the jazz from Cowboy Bebop. Like, come on.
People watch the gameplay review.
What is the thing with Ghost of Yote and Ghost of Tsushima? No, sorry.
You said what?
No, go ahead, pop that shit off. What did you say? Go ahead. Don't say that shit.
Okay. Well, the thing with so Ghost of Tsushima, I think a big reason why Ghost of Yote is able to work with these famous people who have like changed the way that movies and music and shows are made is because they've been so respectful of Japanese culture, Japanese environments. Like Ghost of Tsushima was done in such a respectful and true to that area way that they're now using that and the success of that to work with more legends from Japan. Like this is the most Japanese thing you could do is work with like famous Japanese people who are so monumental in their mediums.
I forgot, man. Hip hop
Afro
is
Samurai?
niggas, you know.
Hello?
Yeah, hip hop is niggas. That's all it is, bro. Apparently, we don't know about hip hop anime folks who like it's a whole culture over there. So again, it's just people just being willfully ignorant for no reason and just associating a genre of music to a culture of people who they apparently don't like.
Yeah, imagine watching the reveal and saying, wait, they don't hate them like me? What? Like, that's what you got out of it? But that's beside the point. Mm-hmm. That's the good things I saw. The negatives I would say I saw from this, I'm going to be 100% honest. It does look a little too safe. I didn't see anything that blew me away. What I saw is maybe a fringe Game of the Year contender. But the way y'all are talking about Death Stranding 2, the way I feel about Expedition 33, I'm going to be honest. Just based off the eye test, I haven't played it because maybe it's going to be absolute fire. But even off the eye test, I don't know if I would rank this above Split Fiction. It just feels a little too safe. And then also, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the frame rate was dropping. So I'm a little worried about the optimization. And then they didn't address my biggest issue with the last game. And my biggest issue with the last game was the parkour. People would call it Assassin's Creed Japan before Shadows that came out. And I was like, it was almost there, but Assassin's Creed still does better parkour. They never highlighted how they were going to improve it. I felt like in the first game, it was too sticky. I was getting caught on environments way too much. And I just would have liked to have seen them go into depth on how they improved that and how that's actually going to improve the combat and your ability to be stealthy throughout the environment. So like I seen new stuff there, but kind of like the way Ethos described Death Stranding 2, it kind of felt like Ghost of Tsushima 1.5, which I'm cool. It looks good, but I don't see a definitive Game of the Year here. And I feel like that's what the expectation is for this game. But I hope I'm wrong. I think what would push it, like based off the eye test, it looks like a solid 8.5. I think what would push it to that next level is the story is going to have to be absolutely gas. And we're going to have to wait to see to play it. But based off the eye test, like it looks cool. What you think, Jay?
I would have to agree with you. I was watching this on stream, and when they talked about the story, I said, oh man, this is another revenge story. This is like the easiest plot you can do. I'm not mad at the revenge story, but for the people who constantly talk about, oh, you know, this is a game that has the exact same plot, you're just in a different setting, and you're not giving me anything different in the story for the small people who apparently do care about the story in video games. We're still technically going down the exact same path. It's just with a different person, and it's just much later on in the timeline. So I was like, oh man, it's a revenge story. Are you going to get me any depth with this? Obviously, we don't know because we only got a small slice. So I'm hoping that I can get a little bit more in the story. And I felt the exact same way as you, TBH. I was looking at the gameplay. I was looking at everything that they were saying in the beginning, like the first maybe like 10, 13 minutes. And I said, this is reminding me of Spider-Man 2. You know, when we talked about Spider-Man 2, I specifically said, this game is good, but you're not doing anything that's innovative. You're not doing anything that's pushing this franchise forward. Now, when we got to the part and I'm going to say this, I don't know about y'all, but this is probably one of the best quality of life things that I've ever seen in an open world game. When they said that you can set up camp anywhere and all the people that you met within the game so far can come to you and give you upgrades and they can sell you things. I said, I'm sold right there. I said, this is the type of stuff that I want to see. Nice. And I hope that this gets implemented in all open world games going forward, because I don't know about y'all, but backtracking is one of the worst things that you can ever do, especially if you have an open world game that's super huge and you got a big ass map. You don't want to keep going back, even if you do have fast travel, because that's kind of how they, tried to mitigate that instead of you having to physically go back. But But I love that aspect. I think that's a super fire quality of life thing, and it sold me there. I loved all the weapons that you have, since you have a different arsenal now. Going to what said, it's like playing rock, paper, scissors, and now since you have 5, it's like paperclip gun. So you gotta figure out which weapon that the person. Oh, and the boss can switch weapons on you too. So you gotta constantly be switching with them if you want to like counter them. So I thought that was cool. The fact that you can knock out their weapons and they can knock out yours too. I was like, oh, okay, like those little things. Once they started showing that, I said, okay, this is what I wanted to see here. But in the beginning, it was looking a little shaky, and like you said, TBH, it was looking safe. It wasn't looking like it was pushing it forward. But those certain things that I saw in the latter half of the reveal, and then of course the new Jobbies mode, the Samurai Champloo mode. When I was like, lo-fi, this seems so weird that it might actually work. I might actually want to do this mode and play my game in this mode just because I love lo-fi so much. So, little things like that, I was like, okay, now I'm more interested in it. But it was looking like I wouldn't even utter this game's name for Game of the Year. And the only reason why it's just because it comes out in October, and it would literally be at the cusp of like everyone's brains, and everybody just be like, oh man, it's Game of the Year, just because it's the last big game that I can remember, because everyone has recency bias. So that would be my only reason. Obviously I haven't played the game yet, so I can't fully say that, but if I didn't see some of those other things that I ain't like, I would have been like, nah man, I think this game is just going to get nominated just because it's there and not because it actually deserves it.
Okay. What about you, Ethos?
Agreed. Shoutouts, actually, another name. Shoutouts to Jay Dilla. I'm not saying that just because he's from Detroit, but yeah, he's also one of the foundational people behind lo-fi as well, along with Nujabaz. It's shocking both of them died young. Conspiracy there maybe. Yeah, I agree. Like what you said, I'm gonna play it. I like Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, it's a day one cop
when it
still.
came out the first time. I'm gonna play it. You said what?
I said it's a day one cop still. Don't get it twisted. I don't want anybody feeling like.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. I don't want people to feel like it's like, oh, this game's not gonna be good. No, I'm gonna play it day one, guaranteed, because it panders perfectly to everything. Like I will watch that. Someone might have been in my house listening to me because everything I was like, oh yeah, do this. I'd play it. I do agree. It seems to be a pattern with Sony games now. It seems to be the first, the new game comes out, and that one's the really cool one, and then they make a direct sequel to that. I think God of War Ragnarok. I think every single time this happens with a Sony game, it seems like they do enough of stuff to make it stand, so it's not just a DLC feel to it, but it's never a huge this is shift, a huge shift, a big upgrade. I wonder if that just maybe speaks more to the industry that we're in now, but it kind of it is that kind of play it safe type of look to it. I'm excited for it. I, for the life of me, will not understand these people on Twitter who are talking about they feel like it's a missed opportunity to stay with Jin. I still don't understand what's the point of us harping on this man. I felt like we had a whole circle of character development for this dude. We saw where he started, we saw where he ended. We know the history of where that ends after that point. And just I think people who are trying to act like there was more there are the same people who would be talking about in any other scenario that a developer or a publisher is milking a character or milking a franchise. I would perceive that as milking, because I really don't think Ghost needs that. I prefer the idea that they have now, which is this is more about an anthology series of talking about different ghosts throughout history, kind of what Assassin's Creed has done, right? Different assassins throughout their history. So seeing it as that lineage, I do think it's interesting, kind of the way that you described the main character. Is it seems like it's almost a reverse of Jin, because Jin was originally the more honorable person, and then he had to go to these more not honorable tactics to beat his enemies, and now it's kind of a reverse where it's here's a character that doesn't give a crap about honor at all, and I wonder if it's going to be almost a mirror to Jin, where it's well, this is the person who learns and comes to respect or have become honorable as time goes on within their story. So I mean, I'm cool with it. It looks cool. I think the plot cool, the story cool. I like that I get a wolf. I can sick on people. That
a wolf.
Cool.
You attack each other at the same time, and the wolf kills one. You kill the other.
I'm
down take a picture of it.
Yeah, I'm down for some Far Cry Outpost and stabbing people through doors and walls and stuff like that. You know, as long as it's not going to take me 100 hours like Assassin's Creed Shadows, you know, I'm down for it. So
I just had a random epiphany before we move on. Based off the way you just described the story ethos, I pray Sony doesn't pull this again. And I know Sucker Punch is different from Naughty Dog, but you know, we've all said on this podcast, these Sony exclusives
shut up. I didn't want to talk about it. I was thinking the same thing.
I'm going to put it in there.
Talk about it.
Please, for the love of God,
I don't want the
Sucker Punch. Don't let us get to the end of the game and she's on the final person she needs to kill for her revenge, and then they're fighting in the water, and then she says, wait a minute, revenge is bad. I'm like, oh my God, it's the same story. Like, I hope there's some depth to her character arc. I hope it's just not.
I'd rather just
I don't think so.
I don't want another. I don't want another.
Speaking of Last of Us,
Last of Us 2. What about it?
I
was gonna say, speaking of Last of Us, did you see that? They just did that whole. Did you see that patch that they just recently did where I was like, oh my God, this is like literally my biggest complaint about this damn game. And the whole thing where they changed the pacing of the story where now it's chronological. It's not the whole bouncing back and forth through two different timelines. Yeah.
Wait, no. Did you see the?
I gotta go chuckle on that.
Yeah.
They added a new mode where if you want to play the game,
new mode.
You know how people said, I hate how the game would like jump to Abby and go like it wasn't chronological. Like it would like bounce time period wise, and you'd be playing with Abby, and then you go back to Ellie, and it'd be different. They now have it all like day 1, day 2, day 3, like from Seattle all the way to the end, and then you swap as a time like in real time. Like you're not, going back and forth. Yeah, and going back in the past to play Abby stuff. Like it all happens simultaneously, which was always my biggest complaint about why I was like, I think this is why people hate the story. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to think about that because the last thing we need now is I'm so sick of Last of Us. When they announced that patch, I saw the funniest thing. The reason I found that patch was someone quote tweeted and said, "Enough. We're tired of this damn game. I don't want to hear about this game anymore." And I feel the same way. I don't even have hatred for this damn game. I don't want to talk about this game anymore. I'm tired of just bringing it up. Just let it just dissipate. Dissipate.
You're not gonna,
I don't want to talk about Last of Us ever again.
You're not gonna like what I have to say. I didn't put it on the show notes, but I saw it on Twitter on my For You page. It's just a rumor. But the rumor is going around that the people who've played the Space Heretic, the new Naughty Dog game, it's a mix between The Last of Us and Dark Souls. And I said, oh my God, if we get another fucking Last of Us game in space, I hope that shit is not true. So take it with a grain of salt. That's just what I read. I didn't put it on the show notes. I was like, I hope it's not The Last of Us in space.
It makes sense.
I'm going to be done with it if it is.
Man, it makes sense. It makes sense just because I know when Elden Ring came out, there was an interview with Drugman.
He keeps talking about it all the time.
He kept bringing it up. Like he was talking about how he loved how they like a lot of people were criticizing Elden Ring. Oh, there's no story. But he actually said, no, I actually like the story of Elden Ring. And he said, I like the way they do environmental storytelling. He's like, I find that aspect very fascinating, how they tell a story different than what he was describing, how Sony games mostly do, like cinematics. And they constantly are like making you watch movies in order for you to grab the story. He's like, I like that it's more like hands off. And it was like, he was like saying he was praising it a lot. And I was thinking that, I was like, I think he's inspired by Elden Ring a lot. I think this new game is going to be very inspired by like a Dark Souls game. So that rumor, I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up being true.
Maybe I'll like it.
Yeah, maybe I'll like it. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'll like it. I don't, nothing shocks me nowadays. So maybe I'll end up liking it, but yeah, I'm tired of the warring, man. I just don't. Every time Naughty Dog comes up, I'm not gonna lie to you. When Last of Us 1 came out, y'all know I did not like Last of Us 1 as a majority of people did. I was a hater of Last of Us. I was not a big Last of Us 1 person. I said to get attacked, I infamously said that franchise or that game specifically was overrated. I've always said that. Nowadays, I don't give a fuck. You people can feel however they want about it. But back in the day, I was not a big fan of Last of Us 1. But I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me that felt kind of happy when Last of Us 2 came out, and people just it just immediately was decisive. Like when people were just at each other's throat, I'm not gonna lie, I had a good chuckle. I was like, oh, now y'all can feel a little bit of pain, because y'all was getting a little bit too cocky with this damn game. I'm glad, there's a little bit of it, but now in retrospect, I'm like, it's gone on for way too long. I'm tired of it, and it feels like no matter what Naughty Dog does, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, TBH. If they announced that they were gonna remake Jak and Dexter or Jak, do you think that the discourse would still happen? You think, right? Like they'd still say like they're gonna wokeify Jak and make him like
I think the damage. I think the damage is
done.
done. Yeah, like I don't even know if I would pick that up day one. Like I would want a Jak 4 if they're talking about a remaster. I'm like, nah, I'm okay. Like I'll just play it on the.
Or let's say it's Jak 4. Do you think like it would just be immediately like if it was Jak 4? Let's say like it's not even like it's a new character and it's a woman because that's obviously what people would think. Like let's say it's just Jak. But let's say they redo his design, right? And he's a little bit different, less edgy looking, right? And maybe they make it more like he has more of a kind of what they did with Kratos, right? Like they gave Kratos more of a vulnerability.
Oh, they hated that.
Yeah. I remember there was people that hated when Kratos was like, Kratos is not supposed to be some softy, the fuck.
Kratos doesn't like women. He uses them and kills people.
Yes. He
Kratos has a heart. Oh my God, you got feelings.
He has feelings. He loves his child.
I like God of War 2018. So I mean, if they do that with Jak, as long as the design is cool and the story is cool, I'm cool with it. I don't care. Like I'm not tripping on it. I'm not that.
But you do agree? You think that like they wouldn't even give Jak, even if they did?
Oh yeah,
Jak,
there would be a portion of the internet would just be
give it a fair shake either.
Yeah, they'd be pissed. Yeah, they would be.
Yeah, they want to give it a chance. But then there'll be a subset of the internet that also doesn't know who the hell Jak is too. So.
Yeah, I was about to say we're so far removed from the Jak and Daxter era that like I don't know if they can bring it back. Like it's only going to resonate with like millennials, I think, and Gen X. And Gen X, a lot of them, I don't think they're gaming like that anymore. So,
yeah, probably not. So it just ended on the because we ended up shifting. Did y'all see that Neil Druckmann said that he's going to stop focusing on the? I
was going to bring that up.
Series now.
Yeah, he stepped down.
He's gonna put his full focus in Intergalactic. Yeah.
So they didn't like the TV show?
Hold on. I told y'all, me and my girl was watching that shit, and she didn't play the games. And literally, the second episode is when they clapped old boy and Joel, and she was shocked too. We haven't watched it since, so I'm not surprised that it got the response that it did.
Damn, she got that upset. She got that upset for never playing the game.
She said she understood why, but she was like, I liked him, so. I think the funny thing about this is it shows you how what did we talk about earlier? How out of touch these CEOs are. If people hated the story when it came out in the game, why did you think when you turned it into a one-to-one TV show that you were going to get a different response? Just because they don't play games, the story's still the fucking same. If people watch movies and TV shows, they like a good story. It's just a bad story, bro.
I think this is a forced thing. I don't know if it's maybe his personality. I don't know if he's convinced. I don't put much weight into the whole conspiracy. It's hard for me to believe that. Maybe it is true. But I know there's this whole thought process that like before, like when Naughty Dog was in its heyday and people were like, this is the greatest studio ever. When they was like in the middle of Uncharted and they just were starting on Last of Us. There was a belief that, what was her name? When Amy, which she's a phenomenal, like if you look at her record, like she did phenomenal work with Naughty Dog. Like she was like one of the lead writers behind Nathan Drake, I think she also helped with Jak. I could be wrong, Jak and Dexter, but specifically also Last of Us. She was like I think she was like a very pivotal member of Naughty Dog in the couple like decades ago. And she was given a lot of credit towards like why some of their stories were really good. And then she leaves after Last of Us 1. And when this happens, then Neil takes over as like the lead. Well, Amy was like originally, like, the way that it was described is, and again, this is all alleged. Allegedly, it was like Neil was a very idealist when it came to like writing and the things he'd want to do. And he'd push like the envelope. And Amy would be his counterbalance to kind of like ground him a little bit and be like, hold on, we should probably do this and this instead. And now that Amy's gone and they kind of let Neil do whatever he want, it's kind of caused this like ripple effect of now we've seen like ever since he's taken over now, like everything Naughty Dog does, like there's always a problem. There's some controversy. There's some, even though I feel like the studio just keeps getting more accolades, it's kind of weird. Like I think like critics love them, but it just feels like now it's like general audiences don't. And obviously I think there's obviously some culture and politics to it, but on the other side, like it's hard for me to figure out, is this really just culture war bullshit that's causing this divide? Or is there genuinely like, I think there's definitely a group of people that was like myself, but I think maybe Watts is in this camp where it's kind of like, it doesn't do anything for me really. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't really get a huge connection. Like I never really had a connection with Last of Us. Like the way people like love the characters and stuff, like I never felt that like thing, that connection. And I wonder if there's a genuine group of those type of people. I wonder if that's the group's growing, or if it's just these are like what we've said before. These are tourists. These are people that got into gaming recently. They don't know what they're talking about, or they're grifters. They only care about the whole culture war and just pissing people off. And that's really where this loud voice is coming from. It's not really just regular ass people who are just now like, I'm not really fucking with it. But I felt like with the TV show, if you're telling me also the TV shows just seems like people who weren't involved in this whole culture warring, they're also not vibing with this. Like, does that speak to a truth that like, okay, maybe it wasn't just, I mean, it probably was like a lot of the warring was because of culture war shit, but is there maybe a truth? Like, is there a silver lining that maybe what they did with Last of Us 2 just wasn't smart, just at all, outside the whole Joel aspect, just writing wise, objectively, maybe it wasn't a good call.
I think the whole Abby drama was a vocal minority. They were very loud, but I think most people who were disenfranchised with the second game, it had more to do with the pacing, the writing. Like that astronaut section in the second game is one of the worst pieces of fucking gameplay I've ever seen in my life. I wanted to die during that section. So I think it's more that, especially now that I think about it, because in the TV show, the girl who plays Abby, she's not like all brolic, so it kind of eliminates that whole conversation about what she was.
She looks more like Ellie to me.
Yeah. And it makes you focus more
like Ellie.
It makes you focus more on the story. So it's like, I think the issue is just the writing and the pacing for the most part with most people. I would like to think most people are decent. And it wasn't the best game. I disagree with you about the first game. I love the first game, but I do feel like the second one I just kind of like it. Like it fucked up the legacy for it.
Yeah. The
first game is good, but the second one did kind of fuck it up for me, bro. But
I don't think the first game's bad. I wouldn't ever say that. I think it's good, but yeah.
It's so funny because I never knew you had these strong feelings about the first game, Ethos. I thought you actually liked it.
If you remember,
because you liked the multiplayer. You like
that was the thing. That was the thing. That was my entire argument. I told people, which was the shock. Yeah, you remember. This was like 2015, I didn't play it. That was the thing. I didn't play Last of Us when it first came out because it first came out on PS3. I didn't have a PS3. So I was like, I did not have a chance to play it. When the remaster came out on PS4, there was nothing to play on that goddamn PS4. Remember when it first came out? There was nothing to play on that shit. They had Killzone and they had Last of Us Remastered. I said, well, I'll finally play Last of Us Remastered. See what the hype was about. Remember, I played this like 2 years removed after the game had been like already hyped up. So I had this expectation going in for the people saying this is one of the greatest games of all time. I played it. I kind of was like TBH, where TBH constantly infamously said and got beat and got attacked for it. He said, "This is just Uncharted with zombies." That's what TBH said, and I was like, "I'm gonna play this for myself." I played it, and I was like, "This. I don't see how this is one of the greatest games of all time. I don't see it. Me personally, I don't see it. I don't know if it's just because I prefer different types of games." You have said that. You have. I will.
The greatest game of all time.
If you remember that. Oh, no. I'm talking about the Uncharted with zombies.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I've always said I did even say love. I'll say I love the first game, but I was like, I never said it was the greatest. I wouldn't put it in that conversation. Nah.
No, not you. I'm talking about gamers in general. They said it was one of the best
Uncharted
games
with zombies. It is.
that ever came out. Yeah. But when I played it, I was like, I'm not really like seeing it. Like, I think it's if I was gonna give it a score, I thought it's an 8. To me, it's an 8. But people were saying this is a 10 out of 10, one of the greatest games ever developed, like top 10 best games of all time. There's people who still say that, which is fine. That's their opinion. I disagree, but they're entitled to their opinion. There's games I love that I'm pretty sure they would never put in their top 10. But that was the thing about me was like, I said, though, my love for it came from the multiplayer. I tried multiplayer. I was like, holy shit, I love this. Like, I love the way it feels. It was so unique. I was like, this is such a cool idea for like a more like strategic multiplayer, more grounded, like third-person shooter that requires strategy, actual like positioning. Like it was everything I had never felt like. It felt like, I know people compare to like Gears. It's like PlayStation's Gears, but it wasn't a bunch of people crab walking and bouncing off of walls. It was like actual, like you have to be in the right position. You got to take pot shots at people. You got to flank people. There's stealth. Like it did so many things right. And that's why I'm a little bit salty that they got rid of the factions. That's why I personally have a vendetta against Naughty Dog. But I don't even think I hate it. I would always tell people, I think it's a good game. But I was one of the people that came out and I made videos. If you go check my channel from like 2015, you'll see they're still up. You'll see things where I was like, I played Last of Us, or just search Last of Us. You'll see the videos of me. And I think my opinion's just been consistent the whole time. I was like, I don't get it. Like, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a solid, good game. see why people like it, but it's not, for me, it's not like the most innovative game I've ever played in my entire life. It didn't move me. I said, if you put that against Walking Dead with Lee and Clementine, I'm taking Lee and Clementine every time. I think they're 10 times better characters than Joel and Ellie. I'm sorry. You could argue with your mama. I will stand 10 toes down on that hill. I think that Lee and Clementine's story is 1,000% better than Last of Us. And I'll stand on that. And they came out the same year. And I stand on that. Argue with your mama.
I mean, I don't think that's a
damn shame we need more of that.
What's the name? That won Game of the Year too. The shit with Lee and Walking Dead. That's not a controversial take.
Ask them Last of Us fans, bro. You just forgot how they used to be feral. Bro.
They're angry.
They were angry. Like, you say anything that's not perfect about that game, they will come for your neck.
I would say the
God of War fans, honestly.
The first Last of Us, the gameplay is probably like an 8.5. I think what did it for me is the story did resonate with me. And I thought it took some risks with it. It went some really interesting places, and then also the relationship with Joel and Elle. And then me personally, I love endings that are just like shocking, and like I love when I think I've watched so many movies and played so many games. I hate the fact that a lot of times when I'm enjoying a piece of media, I can predict the story beats. I didn't predict that ending, so I love. So that's why I said if Last of Us 2 never would have came out, I probably would leave it at like a 9. But because The Last of Us 2 came out, it fucks the ending of the first one up. This big what if ending that was very human. And now I dropped the game down to like an 8 because it's like it didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter. But you know, to each his own. You ain't gotta like it. We went on a whole tangent about that, man. Let's talk about
anyway. I might be getting that Ghost of Yote PS5 Pro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What?
Oh yeah, we forgot about that too. I mean, it looked good, but I ain't.
It looked good.
How much they want for it? $700?
We don't know yet. It's not available for pre-order yet.
That looks like a game that you're probably going to need a PS5 Pro for, because like I said, I don't know if y'all saw it. I saw some frame dips in that gameplay. I think that was a base PS5.
That was the one that I was going to maybe get a Pro for.
Yeah, you might need a Pro for this one.
I was like, it's already beautiful. Yeah.
And that's actually interesting that you said that you're considering getting the PS5 Pro, because that is a perfect segue into my next topic, keeping it in the realm of PlayStation. The good news is, depending on who you ask, there are officially more PS5 players than PS4. So it only took you guys 5 years.
We made it.
I know TBH is ecstatic about that. Y'all aren't broke anymore.
It only took you guys 5 years. That's the good news, right? So we got more PS5 than PS4 players. The bad news is Sony also recently announced the PlayStation 6 is their top priority right now, meaning it's coming sooner than later. The rumors are 2027, 2028, as well as the Xbox. So I'm happy you guys finally got a PS5, but I hate to break it to you, the PS6 is coming. And with that being said, what do you want to see from the PlayStation 6, Jay? What do we need for it to be the big leap? Because some people feel like the PS5 is one of the biggest wastes. One of the worst generations. This is the Xbox Series X, which I wouldn't say worse. I would say it was underwhelming, and I feel like there's context to that underwhelming if we want to dig deeper. But I want to hear what you want to hear from the PlayStation 6.
I would like for it to not exist. Is what I would like for it to do. I mean, outside of the exclusives, I really have no need to own any console anymore. The only reason why I have the PS5, which I'm staring at, is just to play any exclusive that I, at this point now, don't want to wait for it to come on PC, because I would rather Sony give me a timeline, say, hey, this is the base, we're going to do 1 year. If they said, hey, every game that we come out with on our consoles, after a year, it'll be on PC, and then I'll wait. But since we don't know that, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 2 years. You know, unfortunately, I still am bound to owning one of these consoles just so I can play a game day one and not have to wait. But for me, when you ask me personally, I would just rather it not exist. I am not ready for another console life cycle. I mean, we already got the Switch 2. We got Xbox with their handheld now. They're trying to make another console, and now Sony's talking about the PS6. I just don't want to see it. I don't think that there's anything, honestly, for me personally, that they could do that would maybe be like, oh my God, that's so cool. That's so cool. You know, that's so innovative and nothing that I haven't seen before, because All there's going to be is just better hardware under the hood, and that's it. But you're still not going to catch up to what I have right now in my PC. And you're still never going to catch up to any of the technology the PC has. So if I had to say something, just give me the games. I don't want to see a lackluster lineup at launch whenever this comes out. I want to see the bangers there day one. And that's all you have to do for me personally.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with this statement. I feel like I would be more excited with them saying they're focusing on the development of the PlayStation 6 if alongside this announcement, they also said we've acquired 10 new studios. So we at day one or within a year or two, we're going to have a crazy number of games. But they didn't do that. So I got to go off of data and history. And history says PlayStation doesn't tend to innovate. When it comes to new consoles, they just put more power under the hood. Then they add a number to it and they say that's it. So like I would have liked to seen them take like the Xbox route. I feel like we're finally starting to see although depending on because the layoffs, and we'll talk about it in a second, but we're sort of starting to see Xbox's acquisitions pay off because they've been firing on all cylinders in terms of new game releases, especially with the Game Pass. They've been killing it. I need more software from PlayStation before I get like super excited about the PlayStation 6. There's been some rumors about they have patents about using AI to help people play games and stuff like that. But I'm like, they already put an easy mode in Liza P. You guys need you need AI to play the game. At this point, just find I seen a TikTok, right? This dude said
AI
game. Yeah, AI. This dude said in the TikTok, he said gaming is the only hobby where the people who claim to love this hobby, you have to force them to do it. And he was saying that to like, you know, it's a lot of Madden 2K, Call of Duty, GTA gamers. They're saying gaming is dead when there's more options than ever. And then you ask them to keep an open mind and try something new. The matter of fact, one dude went viral, and the basis of his argument is I don't want to keep an open mind. He said he wants more. He wants more GTA clones. He wants more sports games. I'm just like, what are you talking about, dude? So if we add that into the argument as well,
go play Mind's Eye, brother. It's right there.
AI here for you.
Putting AI in the PlayStation 6 and it helps you play the game. I'm like, at this point, do you like games? Like, I don't know, man.
I don't.
What you think though, Watts? What you want to see?
I am still waiting for my guaranteed like 60 FPS game doesn't look like ass. Because when we were going into the PS5 generation, it was like, yeah, everything's going to be 60 FPS and it's going to look good. And then you just saw people getting higher and higher fidelity games. And then the frames were getting lower and lower and lower. I don't need to be able to zoom in on a blade of grass and have it look perfect. Okay. I want to play my games at 60 FPS and have it look good. Look at how like Shadow of the Erdtree, beautiful art direction, looks gorgeous. It does not have high fidelity. Same with Ghost of Tsushima. That came out on a PS4 and it looked amazing. So I want to, if it could guarantee that the games are going to look good and it can run at least 60, if not higher than 60, I would be happier about that. And then of course, yeah, I also agree with if they're going to do a whole new console, there needs to be games that's going to take advantage of that console. Otherwise, I don't really see the point of doing it right now. You might as well wait and have studios work to make it eventually. But yeah, if we end up being like Demon Souls is the only game I want to play on this thing for like 3 years, it's not good. Don't want that.
Yeah. Going back to what I was saying earlier about, because some people say this generation's been ass, and I'm like, I'd argue there's too many damn games to play if you have an open mind. The issue is a lot of y'all don't have an open mind. I would say the reason why it's been underwhelming is two things. I'm going to say something probably controversial. The first is I feel like the context gets lost. The reason why there's been a lack of games for the Series X and the PlayStation was COVID did fuck shit up. Now it's been years, now 5 years removed. Yeah. So I don't know what happened in maybe last 2-3 years, but it was hard to get a console at first, get a lot of games. They were doing remote development and it kind of fucked up the process. I feel like that part gets left out. And then the flip side, that's on the industry. That's their fault. Not the COVID part, but the last maybe 2-3 years. The consumer's fault, this is where I said it's probably going to get controversial. If you want to see more innovation in games because you personally feel like there's not enough or there's not enough variety, because that's what that dude was saying, not enough variety within the same genres. He compared like, oh, we had GTA, but then we also had Sleeping Dogs, which I thought was a terrible example because we didn't get a Sleeping Dogs 2 because y'all didn't buy it. Whatever. Anyways, if you want to see more of that, I'd argue you guys need to get off these fucking live service games. If you want to get back to innovating, the best selling games a lot are the sports games and these live service games. If you guys stop playing that shit, maybe it'll entice the CEOs and developers to try different things. If you feel like there's not, but that's one of the problems that people it's a two-way street. That's just my opinion, though. What you want to see in the PlayStation 6?
No, it's right though. That's true.
Ethos, get off the fucking live service games.
Nothing. I don't want a PlayStation 6.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I don't want nothing.
About. Mm-hmm.
Damn, I don't need nothing. I really don't. I don't need. Why do we need a PlayStation 6? What are they gonna do? What else are they gonna do? I can't think of anything unless they're gonna have that PlayStation 6 give me a massage while I'm playing my game. I don't want it. There's like no reason. I just don't see the purpose of it. So I'm good. I might end up like one of those PS4 players. I might be on their boat. I'm like, there's no reason to upgrade to this thing.
Oh, you know,
yeah, stay on the 5 for a while. I don't even want to get the Pro. Yeah.
You know what would get me excited about a PlayStation 6? If they announce the PlayStation 6 is dropping this date, and oh, by the way, all PlayStation 6 exclusives will be on PC day one. That's what would get me excited about the PlayStation 6. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna
upgrade my graphics card.
I'm not gonna buy the 6, but it's good to know you guys are looking out for the PC crowd. Oh,
well, I'm saying I know it's not going to happen, but I was like, if you did say something like that, or at least again give us a timeline of when these games will drop, then I'll be happy.
It seems like it's like what, like a year and a half, 2 now. That seems to be what it
seemed like a year and a half.
It's all they are getting to like a year, because I was like we were talking about it during the Ghost of Yote thing, because Tsushima was like 5 years. Like, dude, I don't hope it's not 5 years again.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's like maybe it was just like that game took a while because like maybe the engine or something, or maybe I don't know, translate, because it was fast with God of War. Ragnarok came out like boom, here it is. Like
they were being stubborn is what it was. I think Ghost of Tsushima just got kind of caught in the cycle, and it wasn't a priority at the time. But I think that game was regarded so highly that they finally decided to port it over.
For sure.
Freaking and keeping it in the realm of PlayStation, I found this quote pretty interesting from former PlayStation boss Yoshida, who basically said that PlayStation, Sony, he was given kind of an idea of the inner workings, how they think over there at Sony. He was saying that Sony, they don't consider Nintendo competition, which is interesting because you have the big three: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. But he said Sony don't view that way. Specifically, he said in this interview, Nintendo is family friendly. It's games for everyone, not about technology, more about having fun with friends and family, and always having multiple controls bundled with the hardware. So inside Sony, even when they do business analysis, Nintendo doesn't show up. They don't include Nintendo, he said. Jay, how are we feeling about this quote? Do you feel like Nintendo is not competition to Sony? Do you feel like this is an accurate way of thinking? I thought this was an interesting quote.
Yeah, this is an interesting quote, and I think that this may be, interpreted another way. How I'm seeing this is it's not a dig at them. I think they're just simply saying Nintendo is doing their own thing, which they have been. Nintendo's been doing their own thing since as far as I remember. And that's how I'm taking this statement. So they're not saying that Nintendo is not a big dog. They're not a threat. They're just saying Nintendo was doing their own thing. So we are not in direct competition with them. We are in direct competition with Microsoft, because technically Microsoft, outside of some of the games that they had, because they were in their do-bro phase for a while. But overall, Sony and Microsoft have the same multi-plat games on both of their systems, and then they're basically competing about which console are you going to buy for the exclusives, and that's only been those two for the longest. Because again, Nintendo is just kind of over there doing whatever the hell they want. So that's how I'm taking this. I can see how people will be like, "Hey man, they saying Nintendo ain't shit over there," but I think the reality is they just are saying that Nintendo was just doing their own thing. So this is not who we are directly competing with. We're looking at what Microsoft is doing, and that's what we've been competing with all over these years.
I agree. I don't think it was a dig at Nintendo, but I still do find this way of thinking interesting, because I feel like they're potentially could be leaving money on the table by not targeting Nintendo's fan base. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong. That'll let me know. But I feel like people who play Nintendo, not like the older people who were playing like the Wii. I'm talking about like the hardcore Nintendo fans who grew up playing Nintendo. I feel like a person who plays Luigi's Mansion or a Mario or a Zelda game, they're more inclined to try a PlayStation game, something like Ghost of Yote or The Last of Us. I don't think the same is true in reverse. Somebody who grew up with playing PlayStation primarily, I don't think they're inclined to try like a Yoshi. I mean, we've heard it here. Somebody literally said, they said to me, I'm a cornball who plays Dragon Ball Z and Zelda. So I think if they did have more games like Astrobot, because the success of that, I think they could peel away some Nintendo fans and generate some sales. So I don't think it was designed, the quote was designed to be 100% dismissive. But then it's like on the flip side, I'm like, you guys could be poaching a little bit of that audience and splitting the money there if they did put more games that appeal to the Nintendo audience on PlayStation. That's just my thoughts. What you think though, Watts?
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with both of you. Like, I understand what they're saying because as me, someone who isn't really interested in Nintendo games, it's like Nintendo is very separate from me. So like when I'm talking about it, when a game comes out, for example, I'm like, yeah, it's coming out on everything. And people are like, oh, the Switch? I'm like, no, not the Switch. I'm not even thinking about the Switch. It's not coming out on the Switch. So it is very separate for me. So I totally understand where they're coming from of like, when they're looking at their market, it's not something that they really need to focus on. But on the other hand, a game, it does work differently the other way. I think that there's maybe, like, I think about playing Nintendo games with my family or friends. I'm like, yeah, I get friends over, we'll play some Mario Kart, we'll play Mario Party. But I don't think about really playing them on my own that much. Whereas I could totally see if you're someone who plays a lot of Nintendo that you could be interested in a Sony or an Xbox game. And Astrobot is a good example of that, where it's making a similar kind of game, but it's not a Nintendo game. So I think it would make sense if they did look to make those kind of games more at Sony, because I do think there's plenty of Nintendo fans that would be interested in playing them. But I do understand what they're saying, because Nintendo's also not on my radar.
What about you, though, Ethos?
I agree. I personally agree with Watts. Like, I remember when we used to make fun of the Switch. Like, every time a game would come out, is it coming on the Switch? No. We not care. Maybe Switch 2 is a different story because seems to be more powerful. It seems to be like triple third-party publisher. Like, when they showed Cyberpunk, they were like showing like a whole marketing thing with Cyberpunk. Like, look, you can play it on the Switch now. But I mean, but then again, I think honestly, like the only competition is like the only people who care about Nintendo is probably Steam. Shockingly, I think it's just the guys that are working on the Steam Deck are probably the only ones who care about what Nintendo's doing with the Switch right now, because that's probably their potential audience. They don't really care what PlayStation's doing. They don't really care what Microsoft is kind of doing. They're working with Microsoft, so they don't really care. But yeah, I can see how Sony could be like, look, really, I'll be honest with you, I think the only competition that Sony looks at is kind of Microsoft, but I think they kind of look at them as a joke. They're like, oh, okay, they're going to stop 20% of our market share. Oh, boo. But I think they're really more concerned about Steam. I really think PC is what really drives, I think, a lot of their analysis right now. That's why their whole shift to getting stuff on PC now. It seems like what used to be, if you told a decade, hey, we're going to be putting PlayStation God of War on PC, they would have said you were insane and that you lost your mind. There's no way. But like, it's a different time, it's a different age. A lot of people have moved to the PC market now. And so like that, I think that's where their focus is this generation and next. Like, you could tell with when the way they showed the PS5 off, like they seem to really hammer graphics, like power, like PC type of power. Like, we're trying to make this powerful like PC. But like, I just don't know. I just get it. Nintendo's in its own land. Nintendo already sold so much damn Switches, bro. They just dumpstered PlayStation 4 and 5. So it's like, yeah, you don't need to worry about them because Nintendo just dumpstered you. Like, they don't need to worry. Nintendo don't care about you either. Nintendo don't care about nobody. They can break the rules. They can sell $80, $90 games. And apparently you guys who are frauds, you'll be mad at Sony for doing that. But God forbid Nintendo does it. And y'all, day one, lining up to buy Switches. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And y'all buying remasters and paying $10 for upgrades. I'm just saying, if Sony and Microsoft did this, y'all would be on their neck. But Nintendo, we just...
It's true.
Mario Kart.
I kind of had the thought today, since we're talking about Nintendo, I kind of missed the era when Nintendo had two different products out. They had like a main console, and then you had your handheld, your Game Boy, your 3DS, DS type stuff. Just because I feel like when they had like the handheld, there was more like creative experiences there. Versus I feel like everything got consolidated into the Switch because it is a handheld and it is a console. But I feel like a lot of those quirky games that you got on the Game Boy and the 3DS and the DS, they're not really there. It's kind of just like AAA, like it's like the AAA first party Nintendo games are on the Switch, and then you have like a random bunch of just like Japanese remaster RPGs and ports and shit that I don't want to fucking play, not named Legend of Dragoon. Basically what I'm saying is I feel like Nintendo's coasting a little bit. Like I kind of miss that creativity because when you had that handheld with limited controls and the PSP too, like it forced you to get creative with your games, and there was some really cool games on those platforms that I feel like we don't really see as much anymore. Just some food for thought.
On a side note here, if y'all seen like is Yoshida like going on a press tour or something? This man been talking to everybody. I don't know if y'all been on the internet. Like, yeah, he been doing a lot of interviews lately. I'm like, you good? Like, you got a book coming out or something? Like, I don't know what he's doing.
He's just going around. He's playing every game. He's going to like all of these showcases, and he's playing every single indie game that shows up. He's just going around having a good time.
That man is bored,
retired, right? Like,
he was the president.
He done. Yeah, he done.
He was the vice president of Sony for 30 years. That man was probably stressed out the last. That man is bored now. That's all. Let that man live. He's looking for something.
I know that PSP
he probably had too much shit to do. Now he don't know what to do with himself. So
he talking a lot, boy. That man yapping about all the secrets.
Y'all remember me? Ridge Racer. Keep it in the realm of console. Xbox also announced they are working on their next console. Who knows what it would be called? I find this very interesting. This article came out like a day or two after Sony announced they're working on the PlayStation 6. They released a whole minute-long video with Sarabon talking about it. They partner with AMD. The only thing interesting that I got out of this video is they made it very clear that backwards compatibility is the future of Xbox. There's rumors going around that they're revamping their whole emulation system and making it even better. So we know at day one with the new Xbox, you'll be able to play all the old Xbox games. But other than that, we just know it's coming. I'd take the floor on this one. To get me excited about the next Xbox, y'all gotta get them quality of life features and just continue to improve the Game Pass. Don't raise the price and have more games, even more games. And I think I'll be cool, but I don't know. I don't know. What else can you do? I feel like nobody's really pushing boundaries in terms of hardware. So I feel like the quality of life and the services, giving a lot of value to the customer, if they can find a way to expand on the Game Pass, like something would be cool. I don't think this would ever happen, but like I can see a world where Xbox moves a lot of units because they double down on the Game Pass. There's more games, more discounts, but the Game Pass is cheaper on the Xbox than it is on the PlayStation. Like let's say, because they're putting everything out. What if they bring the Game Pass to PlayStation and on Xbox it's $10 a month, but on PlayStation it's $25. I can see a lot of people moving to Xbox because of that. But that's just some,
interesting.
If y'all do that, pay me. That was my idea. What you think, Watts?
Xbox. I don't really see any need at all to own an Xbox ever. Like I would also feel the same way about PlayStation if they didn't have exclusives, but they do. So if I want to play them, right away. And like you guys have been saying that we don't know when they're going to even come to PC. So yeah, I don't feel a need. I think if you have a PC and you have a PlayStation, you have the perfect setup to be able to play everything in the best way possible, especially if you have a good PC. So for Xbox console, I don't see any point. And also Xbox is just kind of pissing me off. They're just kind of pissing me off with the layoff thing, but not even just the layoffs. It's the way that they talk about stuff. They'll be like, yeah, things are good. And then they'll close the studio that they just said was good. Like, yeah, this game is really awesome. And then they'll cancel the game like a week later. I just feel like I don't know what they're doing over there, but I feel like I can't trust them. I feel like they aren't being honest with me. And I think a lot of their thing with Phil Spencer is that he's supposed to be, one of the gamers. He's one of us. He's a gamer. And I feel like he's definitely losing that.
Yeah, Phil feels a little burnt out these days. He doesn't seem as enthusiastic.
I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't blame him. It can't,
you see,
can't
that's
be
why,
very
that's why
fun.
he's throwing a black woman out there. That's why, man. I mean, shout out to Sarah Bond.
I don't.
But
You
know what
beat
he
that
doing.
too. I don't like that shit, bro. Y'all putting her on the forefront now with that announcement. Like y'all know what y'all doing, bro. If there's backlash, it's gonna go to her. What you know? What you want to see before we talk these layoffs ethos? Is there anything Xbox can do to bring you back into the ecosystem?
I mean, it's a good Netflix machine. It's a good Blu-ray player. I can attest to that. I got one. But like I haven't really touched my thing outside. Like it's just in my bedroom when I want to like watch like stuff. Like PlayStation was that, but it's funny. I agree with Watts. Both my PlayStation and my Xbox are literally Netflix machines until there's an exclusive game. But only PlayStation has exclusive games. There's no reason for me to get anything on Xbox unless my friends or somebody's over and I'm just like, oh, just play this. You could play this on this thing and just get this thing down fast. I think the move forward for Xbox is to honestly fuck the box. Just get rid of it. Just there's no point to it. You said the Samsung TV is an Xbox? Cool. You got a handheld? Cool. Just make it more flexible now. I get people are going to want a box, but like, I don't know. Unless they're going to do exclusive like bangers now, but you're putting Gears on PlayStation, just turn yourself into a third party. Let's get it over with. Just turn yourself into a third party. Let's get these games out here. But yeah, I agree with Watts. There's so much bullshit right now with Xbox. It's hard, bro.
Don't even talk to me. It's like, don't even talk to me about it.
I might get excommunicated, bro. I'm really getting sick and tired of their bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I think the Game Pass has been great. And I've always said, and people don't understand a lot of times when I praise the Game Pass, they don't understand. I'm not doing it for a corporate shilling standpoint. I'm not doing it because I like Microsoft. I'm not doing it because I love Xbox. I'm not like one of these. I'm not one of these other losers on the internet. I'm only doing it because it is right now the most consumer-friendly thing that the consumer has to get access to games as the price of games goes up. That's the only reason. If any of those things change, then I'm not going to be standing for it no more. That's the only reason I've always stand for it. It is your best value that you get, especially in this type of economy. It's the best way for you to get access. And I mean, this year alone, we've had 3-4 games on that damn Game Pass that have been like bangers and potential Game of the Year winners. Like, that's insane. So like to see that more people can participate and play more games. The whole point of the pass is that you can expand your horizons, and that whole excuse of games cost a lot of money and you can't afford to try a game and not know if you like it. That's what the whole Game Pass is supposed to allow you to do. But if you're not playing them games, right? If you're not actually trying new things, then what's the point? So yeah, there's a lot of bullshit. It's kind of hard to say what Xbox to do left when you have like all the other bullshit that's tied with it. So
why not just fuck the box, right? Because I'm thinking about what you guys just said. Since the PS5 Pro came out, I have not touched my Xbox. The only reason I was playing my Xbox Series X is because it was more powerful than my PS5. But once the Pro came out, like, I don't touch it either. My thing is, like, why not just ditch the box and just go with the original Xbox idea? Why not release full-blown gaming PCs for like $800 with Xbox branding, and it comes with like 6 months of Game Pass, like an actual PC with the Game Pass built in and stuff like that. Like, I could see that working, getting more people. If that's the Game Pass is already on PC, you guys, it wouldn't cost you anything to put Windows on it because you own Windows. It would just cost you a little bit more to maybe make the PC. But I can see a lot of people buying their first gaming PC if Xbox did their own little branded thing.
Well, Steam tried that. That didn't work out. So
no, I don't mean a Steam machine. I mean an actual case with like Xbox on the side, but it's just a regular PC and it comes with Game Pass.
I mean, they already did that with the Asus ROG, and they put their Xbox branding on this, so that wouldn't be too far fetched to also make a full-fledged PC like that. So I see where you're going with that. But yeah, I mean, it seems like, and I thought this was going to happen already. I thought that Microsoft was going to, in the next generation, just ditch the Xbox. But it doesn't sound like they're going to do that. And they need to. They need to not make a console anymore. You can do the handheld. The handheld is fine. But the main thing I need to do, and this is leading to the next topic we're going to talk about, stop acquiring studios. especially now because we're not seeing that it's helping you all. In fact, it sounds like it's hurting you all because I feel like at this point you put too much dip on your chip with acquiring all these studios and not being able to fulfill, and I'm not gonna say the promise because they didn't promise anything, but fulfill the expectations that a lot of people had once you acquired these studios. And that's to create quality games under your belt now, because now they're under your umbrella and not them being independent or with another studio. So I need for them to don't think about acquiring any other studios. You need to do right with the studio that you have now. Don't shut down any more studios. These games that you say you're going to come out with these games in full. And let's start there. Let's start there with the software. Don't worry about the hardware anymore. Just worry about the software at this point. So it's pretty much gonna be the same answer that I gave with Sony in the PS6. Don't come out with it. And for Xbox, it's even worse because I haven't owned an Xbox since the 360. The Xbox One I didn't own, and the Xbox Series S and X I didn't own because I didn't need to anymore. I had a PC, so all those games I've been playing on there. So I don't need it.
And that's going to lead me into the next conversation, what they've been referencing for those who've been living under a rock. Xbox or Microsoft recently announced 9,000 people within the Xbox division were laid off. And not only were they laid off, but several studios were disbanded, including the team behind the recently announced Perfect Dark video game Initiative. So if you remember that from the Xbox showcase like 6 months ago or whatever that was last year, whenever they showed it off, it looked really dope.
It was February. It was
they just announced it this year. Okay.
It just showed it.
Coming out. It ain't coming out. And it's a shame too, because I read an article, one of the devs that worked on the game, they said that there was a little trickery in that announcement, but for the most part, that was actual gameplay and working systems. That game ain't coming out. There were rumors going around saying that it's because Game Pass isn't profitable, like Xbox or whatever. But then Phil came out and said, no, it's profitable. And I mean, if you look at the Microsoft stocks, they are up like 10% over the last year. So they are making money. But the problem is Microsoft is such a big company. We don't know where that money's coming from. It could be Xbox is burning cash, but Windows is making the money and whatever other products they have. But yeah, it looks like Xbox is not in the best condition. They're buying all these studios. They're closing them down. They're laying off all these people suddenly. And Phil Spencer is saying, oh, no, everything's okay. Like, I don't know, man. Almost 10,000 people is a lot. I see you shaking your head, Jay. Back to you. How you feel about this?
Just absolutely terrible. The one thing that I'm absolutely sick of talking about, especially on this podcast and video game industry period, is layoffs. And the example that you gave is a perfect example for this company, because we are not seeing, at least on the outside, that Microsoft is doing bad. We're seeing all of these initiatives that you all are doing. We saw the studios that you acquired. We see the new partnership, like you just had a partnership with AMD, which is part of the announcement that we were just talking about. You're doing all these things, but yet you just laid off another 9,000 people. This isn't you just laying off a studio or closing down a studio, but almost every subdivision of the Microsoft Xbox brand got affected. I mean, freaking Candy Crush, for goodness sake, got affected by this. Like, Call of Duty got affected by this. So it's just, I don't know, like it really sickens me to like see that this happening over and over and over again. I don't want to become desensitized to this, but we're really getting at that point where it's like, damn, it happened again. And I don't want to see the video game industry die because of this. Like, Microsoft is one of the biggest players in the video game industry that we have. So for this to happen, and then you all say the same bullshit PR excuse, oh, we're going to invest into other areas and continue to support them. Well, how is that going to give anyone on the inside who lost their job or who still has their job after these layoffs? How are you going to give them any motivation? How are you going to instill any confidence into them that, one, they're not going to be next, and two, that you are actually going to support them to get what they need out? Because again, along with the layoffs, we said that Perfect Dark got canned, and I was actually looking forward to that. A lot of people have been looking forward to another Perfect Dark. So for you to actually put an emphasis on that this year, show it, and then say, oh man, that this is canceled, like, that's terrible. I don't know, what else to say to that. I don't know how anyone else is supposed to react to that being a gamer or just being someone who works on these games, who worked on these games and got fired. Like it's just bad. It's terrible overall. And I don't know what else to say to possibly make this better, but Microsoft, y'all really have some explaining to do, because you can't just keep telling us we're going to invest in other areas and think that we're just going to be okay with it. Like, oh, yeah, it's all right, man. Yeah, 9,000 people lost their job, but it's all right. Like we'll still be able to get these games out. No, I don't have any confidence that you're going to be able to get these games out in a timely manner and have these games, one, actually come out, and two, if they come out not be broken to hell, or just be super mediocre because y'all chose to do something that nobody cares about and nobody wants to play. So just overall, it's a really bad look, and I don't like Microsoft announcing new things but also laying off people. Like that's not giving off the right message. So it's just a ton of bad messaging overall, and they need to really get it together, because they're not only losing their community, but they're losing everyone else on the outside too.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern is you guys bought all these studios, spent all these billions of dollars, and you're just blowing up and ruining these studios, which means there's less games. They already disbanded, what was it, Tango, the ones that made the rhythm game last year?
I'm still really mad about that. That's where, like, it's like, you know, you make a hit game that gets awards that people really love, that does really well, and you lose your studio. And then if you do a bad game, you also lose your studio. So it's like, well, how are we supposed to feel about that? How are people who are working for Microsoft supposed to feel like about that?
You blew up that studio. You just blew up Initiative, so no Perfect Dark. I'd argue you blew up Rare. People forget that's the original studio they killed. It still exists, but they killed the soul of Rare. That's not the same Rare. How many more studios are going to kill? Like, imagine, like, this is going to get real spooky for the casual gamers, right? Imagine a world if we keep going down this road where Call of Duty no longer exists because, fun fact, Microsoft owns Call of Duty. And for all we know, Phil Spencer could be lying about the sales of the Game Pass. And I guarantee you the success of Xbox and the Game Pass is really riding on whether or not Call of Duty can push more subscribers. So imagine a world where I can see it starting. I see the first one they would shut down would be the, is it Raven Software? I think that's the one that made the Advanced Warfare.
That one.
No, you said which one? They already did. There's another one.
They already hit them. They hit them with they got hit heavy. One of the
Sledgehammer. That's, yeah, I can see them going after Sledge. Yeah. And they're gonna gut all those, and then they're gonna go after your favorite Treyarch, and then we're gonna have a world where no Call of Duty exists. Now, me personally, I don't care.
That's a good world.
It's a good world.
That's a good world in my opinion.
Ethos. I'm not talking to the hardcore gamers. I don't think we care. I'm talking about the GTA, 2K, Fortnite players. If Call of Duty doesn't exist,
I would be happy with all of those games dissipating into the ether, including GTA. I would be ecstatic. I do a whole jig if every single of the top 10 games that are on that top 10 most sold list, if all of them just got snapped in a Thanos snap and never existed again, I would be so ecstatic for it. I'm dead ass serious. I don't want those games to exist anymore. I'm sick and tired of them. All the long games, all these games have been around for goddamn more than a decade. This should be the rule. We said this before. If your name of your game goes past 3, you're done. That's it. We're done. No more.
What's the name? Call of Duty?
You're done.
Call of Duty?
No 5, no 6.
Some people might let the Call of Duty slide, but the GTA, what? You want to kill GTA, yo? You about to be put on another terrorist list, most wanted.
I don't. They can all go.
I want a virtual gangbang. That's what they like doing, bro.
Have another studio innovate and come up with something actually really cool, a new gangbanger game that's actually different and innovates. I don't think that these games are worth the amount of upkeep that is being required for them. I know Call of Duty's upkeep is probably insane. I know GTA's upkeep is insane. It's just that they make so much money that it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, which has been my entire point, I agree. The off-selling of these studios. Matter of fact, we all owe, which is a big point, I don't know what Watts. Watts wasn't here when it happened. But all three of us, we owe Khan a big fucking apology because we all fell for this shit. When Xbox was arguing with the FTC and the FTC was trying to stop them from doing this, we all said that they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about and that Xbox needed this for competition. And now, 2 years after this has happened, everything that they said during that time when they were being interviewed by the FTC, and the FTC was suing Microsoft about with antitrust laws. They were saying, if you give them this amount of stuff, this will not do this. And what did they all say? I forgot her name. What was the Asian lady that was in charge of their entire thing with the legal argument for Microsoft? Was that they needed this to compete. They needed these studios to compete because Sony was saying, which agreed. Yes, Sony was gaining a monopoly on the market, and that this was the only way that Microsoft, an American company, could compete. And that was it. But the FTC said, if you give them this amount of stuff, it's like they will gain a big. That was the whole thing with Call of Duty. You can't give them Call of Duty. If you give them Call of Duty, that was what Sony was arguing. But lo and behold, Microsoft argued to us, and they swore to us that they would be able to uphold all these studios, and that this would allow them to make more games. Well, here we are, 2 years later, Microsoft, and you cut down most of these studios. You shut down even more of these damn games. And I get it. I get that there's a standpoint where if you put 4 years of development, you made a money hole, you ditched a bunch of money into a bunch of projects, and you're not seeing these projects coming out at a fair amount of time that your expectations are, and these studios are taking 6 to 8 years to make these damn games, and they're coming out mid as fuck, or they're coming out not being 9 out of 10s or big games. But then you got over here Tango making a goddamn game in 2 years that ends up being a fucking masterpiece and getting Game of the Year nominations. And then you're like, oh, we got to sync that. That's because that game didn't sell a lot of copies, and the only thing you can do is rely and pray to God Call of Duty saves your ass every fucking time. I don't know, Microsoft. Maybe we should be making smaller fucking games. I don't know. Maybe that could help solve the fucking ditch that you're in right now. That's causing you to do all this shit. So my bad, Con. I did not respect your game. You were fucking right. You deserve your flowers. I am so sorry. Unfortunately, they kicked you out of government, and God knows where you are now. But you were right on the money about them. You know what? Oh man, there's a lot more expletives I could give for this. But the only reason this works, is that right now Microsoft has infinite money glitch right now. It don't make sense, but it works. And the only way that it will stop working is if Microsoft becomes irrelevant or they don't make as much money as they used to. The problem is they make so much fucking money that they can just keep burning this and it's not going to matter to them. It'll never kill their bottom line because the way technology is moving, and they have so much money on the other PC side of like technology and Microsoft doing apps and Windows, that I think they'll never truly have a problem. But I'm not going to say never. I'm with Watts. I wouldn't be shocked in a decade if Xbox doesn't exist anymore. It wouldn't shock me. I mean, there'd be like the initial shock, but after that, I'd be like, you know what? I kind of saw this coming. It's believable now.
What's concerning for me, and this is why capitalism is the fucking problem. Like I said, I be checking companies. I got money in Microsoft. I'm gonna be honest. So I know they stock prices. It's up 10% in the last year. So if you just laid off almost 10,000 people, and you're up 10%, how much money are you guys looking to make? And like I said earlier, to be fair, Xbox could be in the negative for Microsoft, but Windows and whatever other products they have is making them so much money. I don't understand why they can't continue to subsidize. Clearly, they don't want to subsidize Xbox. 10% growth is not enough annually. So what is enough? Are we talking 20, 30, 40? Because the reality is there's no way you're making 30, 40% more money it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's weird.
This is the problem. Yeah, this is exactly the problem, right? Is like Phil Spencer himself has been saying that like he goes in the letter to the employees who got fired, laid off, was leaked. He's like, we're making more money than ever before, and this is doing so well, and everything is so great. So we're going to get rid of a bunch of jobs. And it's like, it's exactly that. It's companies are now saying, we saw the same thing with Square Enix when their game sells like 5 million. They're like, but it wasn't 10 million. And that's really what we were looking for. It's never enough. And it's never going to be enough. That's why TBH keeps bringing up capitalism, because you cannot expect to grow infinitely. There is a certain amount of people on this earth. Even if every single person on the planet had Game Pass, there is a limit to the amount of people that can have it. There is a limit. And it's only going to keep getting worse and people can't afford to pay for anything else. So people aren't going to be able to buy your new games or buy your new console that you're going to be making or even buy Game Pass. So yeah, it's never going to be enough. And that's also something that really pissed me off, is them gloating almost about how successful everything is and how well it's going. And it's like, yeah, but we can't possibly take a hit on our yearly salary to make sure that you guys can keep your job.
Yeah, I knew things were bad when this quote came out from, I don't know if y'all saw this, but the head of Arcane Studios, which is a studio under the Bethesda umbrella. So this is a studio that Microsoft owns. They're the ones that make what's the joint with Corvo? I keep forgetting it.
Dishonored.
They make the Dishonored series.
Prey.
They make some pretty big games. They are under Microsoft.
Unfortunately, yeah, Redfall. Mm-hmm.
Arcane Studios, the head of Arcane, came out and said that I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money. But at some point, reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either kill everyone else or give up. I say this quote is crazy because, like I said, they are still currently under Microsoft. That means for him to come out as the head of the studio and say that, they must be really frustrated. But it also confirms what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Phil said they're making money, but I think they're lying. I think Microsoft's other products are subsidizing Xbox, because you got some important people under the Xbox brand saying, nah, this ain't it, bro. I'd argue you're risking your job. Because this is a crazy quote coming from a founder, not a random developer, but a founder.
Still there, or is he? Did he? He
said it on social media. He's
like
let me check.
No, I'm saying, is he still the founder? Like, you know how there's founders, but they moved on. They're not part of the studio anymore. Yeah, so he could just run.
No, he's still. I just checked his Twitter. He's still with him. Yeah, he's still with him.
Still there.
Yeah.
So I think there's a double. There's a double. Two sides of this coin. I think, yes, the more that you technically think of the economics of it, you think, okay, yeah, this is not logically this is an infinite money glitch, right? It doesn't make sense, right? But on the other side, like when you have a corporation that makes so much money, I think like when we saw how much money Microsoft had compared to Sony, like it was insane, right? Like the depth of difference was like a wild amount. But at the end of the day, you know, I forgot homeboy's name who's in charge of Microsoft, but if he's like, yo, I'm burning so much money and your return on profit is like 20%, and we're putting 20% of the money we're putting in, like it is now a whole, you know, there's no point to support this. But the thing I have to stress about the Game Pass is these people who are saying that, in my opinion, are only thinking about it in the guise of AAA. And when you think of it from the guise of AAA, the reason you're having this problem and the reason it's unsustainable is not necessarily because of Game Pass. It's a symptom, but that's not the real problem. The problem is your goddamn budget to make the damn game is too fucking big. So you're wondering why Game Pass can't subsidize this is because your game's too big. However, to prove my point about why I'd actually disagree with the Arcane person. Granted, he's gonna say this because he's part of a AAA studio. If you ask any middle ground studio or indie studio, Game Pass is a lifesaver for you. It is a chance that you can not only get this is what, I don't know how much I can say. It is a ability for you to get money secured for your project before the game even drops. So you can guesstimate and say, okay, I'm hoping my indie game can sell 20,000 copies. I don't know if it's going to sell 20K copies, but I'm hoping that's what my analysis is hoping and praying on, and that I can get this amount of money. That's how much we need to break even. But just economically, TBH, let's say you had a game, right, that you were gonna push out, right? And let's say you knew you'd have to sell 25,000 copies or 100,000 copies for you to break even and make a profit so that you can keep making more games, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say Microsoft comes up to you and says, hey, right now, how much money did you spend on development? Oh, I spent like 100K on this game to develop it. That's a very low ball. I spent 100K on this. Expedition 33 is a great example of this. I spent X amount of money on this. And they said, we will pay you right now. If you put the game on Game Pass, we will pay you right now upfront the money that you've spent building that game. It is a no-brainer. Yes, I'm going to take that deal. Why would I risk the potential of me getting the money, which isn't a guarantee, than someone guaranteeing me that bare minimum, even if my game doesn't get a lot of copies like printed through Game Pass or people don't play my game, I'm safe. When all the risk, if you think about the risk assessment, most of the risk is on Microsoft, not me. It's on Microsoft's incentive to be incentivized to make sure my game succeeds on their Game Pass, or that they market my game on Game Pass and they get people to do it.
To the flip side of that,
from that standpoint, makes sense.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying I disagree, but just to give like a counter argument, a different perspective to that, I would say they probably feel like it's unsustainable from a AAA because they're probably looking at the numbers and they're saying, where are the spikes in subscribers? It's most likely the AAA games. And the reason I bring that up, I don't have any data on this. I'm just taking an educated guess. But I mean, I just rebutted last week a TikTok that went super viral from a content creator. And the gist of his argument was, like I said earlier, gaming is dead. And then he said, the gist of his argument, why do I need to keep an open mind? Because he said that a lot of people say that, oh, if you keep an open mind, he was like, I don't want to play Baldur's Gate 3. That's a niche game. A game that sold 20 million copies and one game of the year is niche to him. So like, you got to keep in mind, there's a lot more people who think like him that only want to play Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto. So from Microsoft's perspective, they're probably looking at it like, we need to drop at least one banger, a game of the year contender, at least like an 8 out of 10 once a quarter. We need 4 bangers a year and then everything else is extra. Because like, yeah, you're right. It probably doesn't cost them a lot to get those indie games on the Game Pass, but how many of those indie games are actually generating new subscribers? I think it's mainly probably the AAA games. So it's like this really vicious cycle because people say gaming is dead, but they don't even want to play those games. And then Microsoft feels like they got to fund those expensive games.
Yeah, but here's the key, right? You got to look at it also in the percentages of gains, right? And also like that. Think of Expedition 33, right? Think about how much you think they paid for that, right?
Yeah.
Now compare that to Call of Duty, how much they have to subsidize for that. Because remember, they're paying for the development of that. You're just thinking of it like, how many is this? You got to think of the whole that Call of Duty is making just for them to develop every single year of Call of Duty. When Expedition, they didn't put any money into developing that game. The game was already pre-built or mostly to the point where it was like at a point where they're like, we want to give you money to further like get it done or to further get that set up. I guarantee you Expedition is probably a drop in the bucket that now you have a game of the year contender on your hands, probably pulled in through word of the mouth, a bunch of people who are like, hey, I'm going to want to play this game on Game Pass because I'm hearing it's good. But like what you said, I hear it's a game of the year contender, but I'm not about to buy that shit because it's a fucking turn-based game and da-da-da-da. But they're going to try it because it's on Game Pass. They're going to give it a shot. And the funny part is, even with that, if you look at the Steam records, it still sold a bunch load on Steam. So it's not like Game Pass was devouring their game sales and making it where everybody heard it was a good game and none of them like bought the game. They just went on Game Pass and played it. So like there's a very important balance to this that unfortunately we don't have the numbers. I would love to look at their book. We just don't have the numbers for it. But I think the big thing that's happening and the key thing that Phil's not saying is, yes, Game Pass is profitable, but what people are not thinking of is how profitable is it? And are you not comparing it with also how much money are you spending to develop the games? Because again, the big reason why AAA is burning you right now is because you are spending too much goddamn money making games. The same amount of money that you could be splitting up. Why have what you said, TBH? Why would I risk? What do you think the risk factor is worse? Do you think the risk factor is worse for me to spend a load of money on one golden goose,
or make a bunch of Expedition 33s?
Does good, or do I make a bunch of Expedition 33s? Do I fund a bunch of Expedition 33s and then bang, bang, bang? I have 5 Game of the Year contenders. This is just I'm sorry. Maybe it's just not common sense. Maybe there's just some analysis that they've done with AI, and I'm just not aware of it. But this just logically seems to make more sense to me. I'd rather have this is something we're taught in high school, middle. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah, your overhead. You want to move the risk, spread the risk around, so you don't sink your business if the one main thing you have ends up like blowing up in your face. I think that's the problem. Is Xbox put too much stuff in one area or into 2 areas? They thought Bethesda was going to be the big thing, and it blows up in their face. Now here comes 10,000 jobs gone. This is why now it's blowing up in our face. Again, I want smaller games that take less time to make, that don't look graphically the most amazing shit I've ever seen, that are just well thought out creative games by smaller studios that are supported. That's all I want.
I think what you're saying, for that format to work, for that business model to work, I think what you're saying is what I was arguing like last week on stream. Like, hardcore gamers are and always will be the culture, and it's a lot of loudmouth casuals. Because in order for that business model to work, a bunch of Expedition 33s or split fictions release, it's gonna require people like us on this podcast to be like, this shit is lit, and then they're gonna find out that it's on the Game Pass and they're gonna play it or whatever. So I think that's funny.
How many times have you said? How many times have you said when you streamed somebody did not know it was on Game Pass? They like you brought it up. Oh, it's Expedition 33. Oh yeah, by the way, it's on Game Pass.
I've literally said I'm playing it on Game Pass. Yeah.
Bro, that's literally why I just called myself. I said, oh yeah, I'm the bitch of Game Pass. I can't tell you how many fucking people I have told people. I'm like literally doing Microsoft's job for them. I'm literally the one telling them, hey, Scarlet, what was it called? Scarlet, what was that JRPG?
Scarlet Nexus.
Yes, Scarlet Nexus. I love that fucking game. That game was awesome.
Underrated.
I literally told people didn't know it was on Game Pass. I was like, bro, it's on Game Pass. I can't tell you how many times my friends have always brought up, this game looks cool. Yeah, I think I'll get it when it's on sale. I say, hey, it's on Game Pass. Day one, you can play it on Game Pass. It's always kind of what you said, T. It's the same thing. It's like me trying to drag a horse to goddamn drink some water. I'm like, bro, are you really about to bitch to me about $10? You can't afford $10, $11 to play a game that normally would cost you 40, 50, 60 bucks? What are we talking? What is going on here? I can't drag you over here to try that, like to at least try it to see if you like it, because you're telling me I don't know if I like it.
That's why this gaming is dead argument is pissing me off, and I keep bringing it on. I'd be like, yo, when I was a kid, if I had Game Pass, I would have probably never, I would have never went outside. What the fuck are y'all talking about? You have nothing to play, bro. And maybe people don't know. Maybe people perceive that have never subscribed to Game Pass. Maybe they perceive it to be just those AAA games that they've heard about, like an Expedition 33 or whatever. But maybe they don't know about all the little low key bangers on there, like Scarlet Nexus. There's hundreds, if not thousands.
Liza P was on there for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's where I think Microsoft's got to do a better job of advertising what is on the Game Pass besides
really
the new
bad
releases.
at it.
They're doing a terrible job.
They're really bad at advertising in general. Like, people didn't know about Metaphor because they had the advertising for it.
Is that also on Game Pass? That
yeah, just came to Game Pass like 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
yeah, they did a whole thing about it. Yeah.
Okay, so like last year or 2 years ago, they did that whole PC marketing thing where it's like, when they were marketing the PC specific Game Pass, because people didn't know you could get a PC Game Pass that costs cheaper than the regular Game Pass. So like they were doing that marketing, which I thought was a good start for it. That's the thing. Even if I was in charge and they hired me and they're like, yo, we need to figure out marketing, I don't know what I can tell them to like what do you do to convince people to get this like pass? Like, I don't know. I just don't know what's the strategy? Like, what do you do to like convince people to get it? Like, do I just show them, like, because they're doing it, like they're showing games, there's ads for it. Like, I can't say they're not doing ads. They're doing ads for it. Like, what is missing?
If I was, they need to pay me. If I was the head of marketing for like Microsoft, I would create maybe somebody, like, remember how they had Major Nelson during the Xbox 360 era? They need another Major Nelson, whoever that man, woman, doesn't matter. And they need to do weekly streams, just Game Pass Game of the Week or whatever, and you just play along, you talk to your audience, you'd have 10,000 plus people in that stream. It's a free way for them to they need to hire somebody to actively do streams promoting and they only play Game Pass games, bro. That's a easy way. And then you could have people come in the stream and be like, hey, just because you came through to the stream and you checked out the Game Pass Game of the Week that we're highlighting, we're going to give you 10% off if you subscribe right now. Use the code, There's ways they can get it. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising. I don't know why they don't tap in with the community. I don't get it. Like Nintendo,
they do
house shit.
I get free Game Pass. I try to market that as much as I can, but like, I don't know what, like, I just don't know if people just aren't doing it. Like,
they need to create a job position, and that's their job to act. And you give them the keys to the Microsoft social media, and you create this relatable gamer person that's constantly promoting what's new and hip on the Game Pass. I don't know,
maybe a bishop of the Game Pass, maybe a
ding 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 ding. I feel like it's low cost.
I've been doing it for like 3 years.
It's low cost. Pay somebody $75,000 a year or something like that, and tell them go stream our games on the Game Pass. You don't think somebody's gonna want to do that? Like, come on now, bro. I think the funny thing about this situation is not only are they not advertising what else is good on the Game Pass besides their main bangers, they're not even treating their main customers correctly. I don't know if y'all saw this argument, but reports are claiming PlayStation users will be getting a disc version of the physical edition of the recently announced Xbox games that are coming to PlayStation. So stuff like Grounded, Gears of War. Gears of War, the remaster, is coming on PlayStation to the disc, but it's not coming to Xbox, bro. So if I'm looking at if I'm
disc for it,
yeah, a disc version is what I'm saying, or Forza.
There's no disc.
Yeah, there's no disc version for the
only
Xbox.
Yeah, only digital.
But you can get Forza on disc on the PlayStation. If I'm an Xbox fan, I'm looking at it like, yo, you treating them better than us. Like, what the fuck? But y'all got unlimited money.
I wonder, is that a Microsoft decision or a Sony decision, though? Because even though Microsoft has put in their game on the PlayStation, I wonder is that Sony's doing it like, hey, we're going to do the physical disc. I mean, it's still it's still
either
wrong
way, right?
Either way that Microsoft is doing it. Yeah, it's still
It
wrong
makes you
either way.
look
But I
bad, like, forced
wonder
to do
whose
it.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, whose decision is that really though?
If you want to be on a platform, we're going to force you. You have to do a physical copy with like some sort of deal. Like, oh, we'll let you publish on PlayStation, but it must be both digital and physical. We will not let you just do digital only. Like maybe, and we're not gonna say anything.
Because then, yeah, either way, it's bad, right? Because it's like either way, you just weren't having physical versions of your games, and you just didn't care to ever do it. And then Sony is like, yeah, sure, we'll give everyone physical copies.
Like if I'm a hardcore,
regardless of what it is, yeah, it's not good.
I'm a hardcore Xbox guy who's really on Twitter fighting the console war, and I'm a collector of physical games, and I find out my main op is over here.
My nemesis.
My main nemesis is getting the disc, and I'm not. I mean, I'm going to buy a PlayStation. Like, man, fuck you, Phil. Bro. What are we talking about, bro? Thankfully, I'm a mature adult. So
Yeah, it's a very interesting and weird decision, but dang, it is what it is.
We're living in interesting times. Off the Xbox and PlayStation news, let's go to Nintendo. Did y'all check out that Donkey Kong direct for Donkey Kong Bonanza?
No,
Switch 2?
No.
Y'all didn't look at it? I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't watch it. I saw videos about. I watched some people's first impression after they played it, but I didn't watch the direct.
We know
I'm
it's
not
gonna
gonna
be a good
lie.
game. It's
Based
Nintendo.
off the eye test, it looks like it could be a Game of the Year contender. I was looking at that.
It.
I was looking. News came out that it's being made by the same team who made Super Mario Odyssey. I love that game. And it's diving more into the background of DK, but like the level design, it looks like almost like what was the space one? Super Mario Galaxy, but with like Donkey Kong and a bunch of other new cool mechanics. I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, if Nintendo would have had this at launch, you might have got me for the Switch 2, but you didn't. So I'm gonna sit back and wait for this one. But none of y'all watched the goddamn gameplay. It looked really good. I'm gonna say, don't be surprised.
I watched the gameplay, just not from the direct, and people seem to be really, really happy about it. Yeah, people just seem really happy about it, and I think it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it pains me to say
This
the
comes
name.
out next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost
It pains me to say Nintendo might have a banger on their hands after all the bullshit they done pulled with the Switch 2. I'm like, God damn it, bro. But I think I'm still gonna wait until that From Software game comes out. Maybe the price will drop on this by the time. I doubt it, but
You think
Yeah, crazy drop it. Yeah, you're right.
It's gonna be $100 by next year.
pro-consumer. You know what's funny? I don't know if y'all saw. I didn't put this in the show notes. You know they're raising the price on the Switch 1 in Canada. Not the 2,
What?
but the 1. It's funny Watt said that $100 next year. They actually are doing that. 8 years later, it costs more in Canada to get a Switch 1. I'm like, all right, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was a good joke, PBH. Oh my God. Well, said a Nintendo sale.
JG's a big basketball fan. EA announced that college basketball is coming back. Not NBA Live, but college basketball. I know you hate 2K. Is this giving you hope?
What are you asking me about?
Is this giving you hope, big dog?
Me fuck that shit.
No, I mean this was inevitable. I mean, EA saw that college football was doing really, really well. People were like actually excited. So this makes sense that college basketball would follow suit. I mean, I'm happy that they're focusing on college again. Mainly because I want the young guys to get paid, all the Wyans to get paid. So it's good. It's good overall because there was like a certain subset that did really enjoy those college games. So that's cool. I mess with it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Just for those who didn't know that this was coming, it's not coming until like 2027. They just announced they're working on it. But I'm excited because it's less pressure. It's not an NBA game. It's college. It's going to differentiate it from 2K. But I do think if this game performs well, that means we could get a proper 2K competitor from EA, whether it's live or they call it something else, they reboot it. So all I can say for the EA devs, please, no microtransactions. I know this is a hard ask for you guys not to be fucking greedy, but no microtransactions. Just focus on making a fun core basketball experience, a college experience. I've seen some 2K content creators on Twitter talking about, oh, this need a park mode. No, shut up. Nope. Let's just focus on the basics.
Oh, no.
First of all, it's a college basketball game. It don't need no damn park goofy mode. No. Let it be college basketball. Make sure the offense is good, but also make sure it has great defensive mechanics. That is something that people constantly bitch about in 2K. And make sure the online servers are good. And then also undercut the competition. People are already rooting against you because there's a lot of 2K fanboys, which I'll never understand. So come out, make the game $40, $30, whatever. Some people are probably going to call it trash because it's cheaper, but you're also going to entice a lot of people to try it just because you're fighting an uphill battle. So make the game cheaper than the competition. Focus on the basics, and then we build out from there. Hopefully you guys do good, but it's fucking EA. I'm not going to hold my breath, especially after. Have y'all seen the skate gameplay? I don't know. I forgot to put that on the notes, but there's been some previews.
Saw your video on it.
There's going to be microtransactions out the woo on that one. Also, it was mad texture pop-ins. It didn't look like a game that we've been waiting 15 years for. It looked like an Xbox 360 game with no type of innovation. And then they showed off the store and it was like hella skins in there. I was like, this game is exactly what I feared it was going to be. It looks like a virtual playground and an excuse to try to get you to spend money. And we already know EA said they want to focus on their live service game. So the missions too, there's no story mode. It's just challenges. Do a kickflip off the stairs. I'm like, all right, bro. I don't think this was worth a 15-year wait, but I could be wrong. It just didn't look good off the previews. Going back to EA though, this one was actually pretty funny. This one will make you guys laugh. So EA announced they have some pretty big expectations for Battlefield 6, which is supposed to come out next year. Reports are claiming EA expects to bring in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 100 million concurrent players on Battlefield 6. You know, you're a big Battlefield fan, Ethos. You think this is a doable number? 100 million players?
Fuck no. Does Call of Duty even do that?
No game
no
does
one
that.
ever does that. I think it's impossible.
Bro, like
this is an excuse
100 million
dice down.
concurrent.
This has to be just a ruse just to get dice shut down. Oh, they didn't reach their target. Shut them down. It has to be. There's no other way. There's no way.
When I read that number, I said their priorities are fucked up. They're not worried about making a good game.
The moment they said the BR will allow us to reach that goal, I said we have lost the plot. What is happening? Who are your business analysts? Who the fuck is analyzing for y'all?
Just to put it in perspective for like the most popular games out there. You guys remember when Marvel Rivals came out? We were raving about it on the podcast. All the memes on social media, everybody was fucking playing that. At its peak on PC, it had 600,000 players. That's the Marvel IP. You think Battlefield 6 is going to get 100 million players? So if you add the PC version of Marvel Rivals with the consoles, I doubt they were doing more than 2 million at their peak if you add the consoles in. I don't have the numbers, but that's just an educated guess. These motherfuckers just talking about 100 million. First of all, the last Battlefield wasn't even good. We just need to be worried about making a good game.
Wukong with all the power of China behind him couldn't get that concurrent.
All of China's.
All of China play Wukong and it didn't sell 100 million copies. What are we talking about here? Matter of fact,
and this game's not going to be free to play. And this game's not going to be free to play.
X-Defiant was free to play last year and had 10 million concurrent players. Well, it wasn't concurrent. They had 10 million total opening weekend, and after that, it went down. That's a crazy number. This ain't going to be free to play. Jay, what's their path to success? What do you think?
I don't hear him.
Yeah, I don't hear you. Did you mute yourself?
My bad.
I was waiting to see if it was like a delay thing, and I was like,
sorry.
Yeah,
I was muted. No, the chances are 0.00. Yeah, that's way too ambitious. Like, again, that's why this got to be.
Can we short EA? Can I bet on them failing on this? There has to be a way I can make.
What did I tell you early in the podcast? The biggest issue right now, if you feel like there's a lack of innovation, please stop playing these fucking live service games if you genuinely don't love them. Let that sunken cost fallacy, all the thousands of dollars you paid for the skins, let it go. Get off these fucking servers, bro. Because now look at they're doing at Battlefield.
Like you're hoping that a free to play battle royale mode, you already tried it. Nobody played that dog shit, and you want to do it again. This is what I'm saying. Like, who is making these decisions? It is like they are terrible. You don't have to be a business person to know that these are terrible ideas. Why do you all continue to make these really, really bad decisions? And then make up a number. You must have just thrown this at a dartboard. Oh, 100 million. That's going to be our goal. Like, no. You literally said in this article that none of your Battlefield games reach 100 million players. None of them. And you think that this one is going to be the one that does it. Okay. Please look at your own numbers and then come back and tell me if you think that that's feasible. That's why I say it's got to be clickbait. I don't think that they believe that. But you're saying this stupid shit. And now we're talking about it. Like, if you truly think that this is a number that you're going to be able to achieve, you're smoking rocks. And I'm gonna be like Ethos. Y'all need to put in the chat how many times the Ethos has said bet or parlay or short. Because this man is a bad man.
I need to make some money off this. I can't have my brain literally. I can't be losing brain cells of this dumb shit and not making some money off of it. I gotta find a way to make some money off of this, at least bare minimum. If capitalism's gonna destroy us all, I'm gonna make a buck or two as implodes on us. Because this has to be capitalism. There's no way. I guarantee you. The only way this article is even possible is I guarantee you that fuckface Andrew Wilson. I don't give a fuck if this gets me kicked off the. That fuckface Andrew Wilson probably got up there in a fucking boardroom and told all those goddamn stockholders and all those people who have money involved in finances and all those investors and told them dead ass to their face, with a snide little smirk on his face, that Battlefield was going to be the biggest Battlefield they ever did, and it's going to get 100K, so that he could boost the amount of investments and boost the stock prices of EA. That's the only logical thing in my head that could justify someone saying something so outlandish. And then when it doesn't score, after all the money comes in, after EA's stock prices go off, and then they short and they get a little bit of money off of it, and then it starts to crash, and then maybe EA gets sued for some shareholders saying for basically manipulating them. Maybe, just maybe, then he'll be like, oh damn, look at that. Fuck, this is what's gonna happen. Oh fuck, we didn't hit 100K. Hey, let's shut Motive down. They already did Black Panther. Oh, let's just shut Motive down. There's no reason now. They were in charge of making Battlefield campaign and PR. That's the reason why it failed. So yeah, let's get them out of here too. I also heard, I'm not gonna say who said this, but someone told me, a little birdie told me, that right now Battlefield's having development hell right now, and that they have burnt a lot of money. They burnt over 100 mil into that game, and they've rebooted it already, and they before, and yeah, the reason why it's in that Battlefield Labs is because the first iteration of it apparently was not good. So yeah, that's why they're
me.
Yep, that's why they're putting all these studios. And again, it's the problem that all these problems have. There's too many damn cooks in the kitchen. How the fuck are you gonna have 4 studios in 4 different locations in the world all be able to work on this one game without fucking it up some way? There's no way. There's no fucking way.
I mean,
no.
You heard me earlier. I said I have money in Microsoft, so I be knowing all the share prices. Ethos, come on and join the dark side. Don't get me wrong. On this podcast and on my stream, I'm always going to be preach pro-consumer.
I'm trying to short people. I'm not trying to make no stock prices. I want to short them.
I'm always going to preach pro-consumer, but I'm also not going to bet against myself and how you guys behave. Like an example being, I bought Nintendo about 6+ months ago. People were saying they were going to buy it. The price of Nintendo, the game, Switch 2 became the fastest selling console week 1. Now I'm up 45% because I knew you guys couldn't control yourselves. So I'm going to preach, don't do it, but I'm also going to buy stock because I know you don't listen. And if you guys ever do listen, I'll sell the stock. I'll take a little L. I'm not bugging off that. But
I'll take the L for the betterment of my industry. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm not tripping off that. There's other plays we could do, but I know y'all don't got no self-control. Next, we got to get the Activision, the EA, and all that stuff. Y'all not. Oh no, Take Two, because I know y'all gonna buy GTA 6. That's the next play. This is not financial advice, by the way. Yeah, join the dark side, Ethos. They don't listen, bro.
You tell me how to do shorts, and I'll be on that. I'll be parlaying on that. By the
that you're gonna have to ask Siggy. That's more advanced stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to short people.
Freaking you take on the 100 million players for Battlefield 6, Watts.
No.
Watts is a single player game.
This is so we've a big problem with the gaming industry, and why you hear so many out of touch takes is as soon as it started making as much money as it did, a bunch of financial people stepped into the upper roles of all of these companies. And they don't know anything about games at all. They look at Fortnite and they're like, yeah, let's just do Fortnite. It makes money. We just do Fortnite. But they don't understand that everyone is already invested in that specific game. They're not looking to leave the game. They only have X amount of money they can spend per month. They only have X amount of time that they have to put into all of these games. And that's why you start seeing stuff like that. Clearly, it's not going to happen. I doubt it's even going to be a decent game. I'll be honest. I don't think it's even going to be that good. It might be okay.
Yeah, this is a crazy statement. I mean, I'd say Battlefield peaked between Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 1? And
3 and 4. 3 and 4.
That was like peak 3 and 4. But like, I'm just giving like the general window. I think the last great
one got close.
I think the last great one people loved was probably Battlefield 1. And that was like, what, 10 years ago almost? Like, you guys think...
Bro, we were at E3.
and you didn't hit 100 million back then. You think you're gonna hit it now when the last one wasn't good? You should be worried about that.
Their logic is there's more gamers now than there is ever been. The more
gamers who again not play your games because again, to Watt's point, they're still playing GTA and Roblox and 2K and Fortnite. They're still invested into these games. What do people not understand? You're not going to take them away from these games. We still have freaking Beezy. He comes in my chat. He came in my chat yesterday. Still playing Apex, bro. He's still asking me to play that damn game. I'm not playing that game. He's still playing it. He doesn't play anything else. He is super invested into it, man. The psychology is crazy. Ethos was 100% right with the video he did months ago about the psychology of people who play these games. It's because they are invested. They spend so much money and time that they cannot take themselves away from it. You're not going to take them away.
It's an abusive
relationship. To back up what Watts is saying too, 100% on the money about the whole, there's a bunch of people who are just they were in finance, Wall Street or whatever it is, and now they're in these areas because I literally had a conversation with a publisher who literally argued to me and said, hey, would you do Battle Royale? And I just stared at him like, that's not really the point of the game. He's like, but if we gave you the investment to do Battle Royale, right? Do you think you could pull in X? They gave me a number. They said, do you think you could pull in this amount of players with it, like within a month? And I was like, I mean, and the number was high. And I was like, I mean, I guess anything's possible with that amount of money, but like that's how they feel. Like investors don't understand like the nuances of the industry. They just think it as, well, Fortnite had this amount of money because they do this and this. If we just throw money at you, does this just mean that we'll get immediately our returns back by this, by just making the same type of game? They think that way. They think that's how it works.
They legitimately do.
And when you realize like how, like it broke my brain. Like I literally was like lagging. I was like I was trying to understand like their logic. And I was trying to like figure a way, like, I'm not trying to like not walk away from this, but at the same time, I'm trying to make sure we are on the same like reality right now. This isn't like, it doesn't work like this. Like that's the problem is not only is it capitalism, it's just the people who are in charge. They don't know. They don't know.
They
jack
have
shit.
no
They
idea.
really don't.
They're not.
It would be like me going to a car creator and being like, "I hear trucks are popular. Let's make truck."
It's like Watts. It would be like you and me after we played Pretty Derby. We went to Kentucky and we said, "Let's go get a horse and let's sponsor the horse and say this horse is gonna win." That's literally how it works. Like, I watched the video game. I played a video game of anime girl horses. I could go to Kentucky and I could get number one. I could get first place.
I know who the horse is that's gonna win. All right,
I'm telling you, we can win. That's literally what it's like. And it's mind numbing. You're like,
it's crazy.
This is the thing that blows our mind. You just can't imagine people who have that amount of money would be that dumb, but they are.
They are
that dumb.
Money does not equal intelligence.
They're making bad investments, and Ethos, if they're having a conversation with you, guarantee they've had a conversation with other game studios, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. And if I could tell you the shit I heard Ubisoft said. Oh my god.
Why you said no, other people said yes. Yeah, and that's how we get these dog shit games. And we're like, why did you make another BR game? Why did you make another extraction game? Why are you making these games that people are ultimately not going to play and you're going to have to shut down 2 months later?
This is why that happens, right? When they made the decision to make that happen, it was years ago when it was relevant. But it takes time to build a game. So they think the relevancy will carry. And that's why you're wondering why the fuck are you making a BR? Well, oh shit. Well, we did it back in we started building it in 2016 when or 2019 when that shit was popping with Apex. So we thought we'd be done in 2 years, but damn, it took us 4. And by that point, that's when you're staring like, why the hell are you showing me that? Like, I don't want to play this shit anymore. It's not about the games that succeed are not the games that chase the trend, because they're already going to be late because of the amount of time it's going to take you to catch it. Though it's the ones that like can predict where the trend is going to be, and you can boom get the game done right before it happens, before the market realizes it. PlayerUnknown was right on the money for that. What was it? DayZ was right on the money for that. Rust was right on the money. Minecraft was right. All these games did it because they didn't copy what a trend was of something else they did. They came up with something. They realized player patterns, and they said, hey, players like this and this and this. What if I did this and unique thing? And then the lightning struck. And then same thing like Halo. What was the whole Halo thing? There's no precision FPS on consoles. Didn't exist. All of it was like Doom PC was PC based. Then they said, we're going to make this type of experience work on a controller. And then boom, Halo.
But you want to hear the funny part of this? Like, these investor people, what you just described, they understand that because these people are in business, they have money. And there's like a saying in the investment community that if you hear about a stock or a crypto via TikTok or YouTube, you're already too late. Basically what you just described with like game trends. So these business people understand that, but I don't understand why they don't correlate that with games. That's the part that like confuses
Because they don't know how games are made. They think it's like crypto. They think like it's stocks. They think it's like, oh, if I put money in this will give me a return on investment. They don't understand. It doesn't fucking work like that. Gamers are not, we don't work. We are not the same types of market. They think they can do the same thing like they do with other markets. But when you realize it doesn't work that way, you can't just predict the future by just doing, oh, well, this is what's currently popular, so it'll still be popular 4 years now. That's never been the case. How many dead games have died because of Call of Duty? Like, how many people have chased Call of Duty's tail and got obliterated because of that? Because they thought they could, we can COD kill, we can be the COD killer. And they end up dudding every one of them. None of them could stop it because it's what's in charge. And even Call of Duty hasn't, like, it's slowed down, but it's still, like, sells millions. It's still, like, what, top 3, top 1 or 2 every year?
Call of Duty is LeBron on the Lakers right now.
Yes, it just will not die.
It's still good, but he's not that good, you know?
Yeah, so these people, which I agree with, they're not fucking smart. They're not taking the time to really analyze what's wrong with it. They just care about one thing only. What does the spreadsheet say? And what's the potential from a business analysis of how much can this thing potentially make? And the way that you do that, and I'm telling this because I'm speaking from experience on this, I'm speaking from a moment of experience. When you do that, the way you do that is you look at the market, you say, what games are similar to the game we're trying to make? How much money did they make? How much, and then predicting the competition, how much competition is in saturation is in that area? Can we reach that type of goal? Well, yeah, they made this and this amount, and this was their budget. So by just doing economics, they just think they could do simple economics. Well, if we just do 2 times their budget, that should mean
2 times money.
Yeah, 2 times money. That's what they think. That's what they think.
2 time budget, 2 time money.
That makes sense. Like in maybe another type of industry, maybe that makes sense in some other scenario, some other industry I'm not aware of. But it doesn't work like that in gaming. It never works like that. I don't understand. Watts understands this. I understand this. You understand this. Because we play games. We know this. They don't. I'm telling you, I should start a consulting firm. If we had a consulting firm right now, we could have saved so much money. I've been joking
about that on stream. Like, that might be later in life.
For real.
We could seriously make a consulting firm and have these companies hire us, or have investment firms hire us to do, like, I've done analysis. I literally have done 3 business analysis as like a freelancer for different people's like indie games and other stuff. I've seen the numbers. I know what you got to do to do the analysis, the different breakdowns, where you get the data from. It's so pivotal. But the problem is there's no human element to it. It's just crunch the numbers for me.
They don't play games.
There's no connection to the players. All of us are gamers, so we are tapped in. Like what you said. What did you say? Like an hour ago, TV. You said like the hardcore gamers are tapped into the culture. They move the culture. Yeah, they understand the fire that's in the soul of the gaming community and what people play. How many times have we predicted on this damn show a game gonna blow up before it came out, and then boom, it blew up? And we're like,
it's so easy.
We called that. Because we've been around for almost a decade. We've seen the patterns. We know how it works. But the people who are doing the analysis, they aren't like that. They're these dumbasses that were in Wall Street, dumbasses that are in finance, and they just think, I could apply the same policies, the same mindset that I have making stock predictions, and I could do that for games. It doesn't work like that.
Pay me, invest some money into me, man. If you want to waste some money, just invest some money into me. I'll make Stickman or something, like just something stupid. It'll blow up. I mean, a person made a freaking game called Banana, and it's still one of the most like.
I could have predicted that shit was gonna be a bot. That shit was a fucking joke. One person made a drug dealing simulator and made millions of dollars off of it. It's not hard. It's really not. People are terrible.
And the unfortunate thing is, what we're talking about is there needs to be more investment in the talent so we can get more creative things. And unfortunately, EA CEO raked in $5 million more this year than last, while his employees at EA have made the lowest amount of money they've made since 2022. Thank the Madden community, the MVP bundle, which is Madden and college football, and FIFA community. He keeps giving himself a raise. And they're not investing in R&A or R&D or whatever and creating different products at EA. So I don't know, man. Can you even regulate this type of stuff? Like, how much money can a fucking CEO? Like, how much money you need, bro?
There needs to be a cap. I mean, I think there does need to be a cap on these niggas who make all this.
That is the free market working. That is the free market.
You sound like the peasants on fucking Twitter. I have a dream of becoming the next Elon. Newsflash, buddy. You won't get off his dick.
I am a corporate billionaire, bootlicker. That is free market at play.
The unfortunate thing about him making more money and us talking about all these other different games is EA just announced which I didn't even know, the Anthem servers are shutting down officially January 12th, 2026. It will no longer be playable, guys. So another EA game is dying.
That Stop Killing Games thing?
Yeah, I got that. I got that saved, so I can talk about that too.
It was ironic that shit came up, and then EA was like, "We're shutting down the game."
Yeah.
The timing.
They're like, you guys got the signatures? We're leaving.
Shit, time to get this shit out of here now.
I feel like killing a game. I feel like killing one.
Which game? Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what someone said? It was so funny. One of the ex-BioWare devs, he has a YouTube channel, and he said he worked on Anthem. He helped get Anthem basically out of the door. Like, they bring him in every time, and they're like, yeah, we fucked up. We need you to get this game out. And he's like, you can tell he's just like, he's been stressed out, like, for probably the past 2 decades of his life. And he said when they got EA, before the game launched, he said I guess their engineer was so good that he said they were able to get the server cost down really, like, extremely low. And that's probably why. And he said he probably did such a damn good job that EA didn't even realize they were still paying for the servers for it, because they didn't realize it was even affecting their bottom line at all. And then they were like, and then he said, and then when all this Stop Killing Games came out, probably somebody did announce, hey, you got still Anthem running in the background, and you guys have stopped supporting that game for like years. They're like, oh shit, you're right. We should probably get rid of that.
Yo, let's kill it. It's funny though. They said next year. Why even wait till next year? I mean, I feel like I said this before with another game. Why even wait till next year? Just shut it down now. Who's playing it? Who's on there?
There's a community. it shows up on my For You page. Everyone. I don't know how big the community is, but there's a community still playing it.
I played it last year, and I saw like I actually found games while I was playing. I was like, what the fuck? There's people still playing this. Yeah, there's they like it.
Wish I was that passionate when the game was new. I don't know.
No, that's not their fault. That's Anthem. That was EA's fault. We can't even blame them.
They could have stuck with it 100%. They had enough of a foundation to be okay.
Yeah, we're trying to see 2.0. And they just said forget it.
They had Star Wars: The Old Republic. They had the guys that made that MMO for BioWare for the Star Wars MMO. They had them working on it, and I read every blog. It was looking good. It was like they were taking elements from Warframe and Destiny, and they were trying to work it together. They had some good ideas, and then EA said, "How much is it going to take for us to 2.0 this?" And unlike other, CD Projekt, anyone else, they said, people already hate us. Fuck it. Let's just close it. Stop it.
So unfortunately that's shut down. Another game that got slowed down, not shut down, is Marathon. This is the big new shooter from Bungie. The extraction shooter, they had an alpha like a few months ago, I think. The 17th, has been almost a month, June 17th. This is when this article came out. And they delayed it indefinitely, meaning that they don't know when it's coming out. They said they're going to focus on upping the survival rate, doubling down on the universe, adding more social experiences. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't care if I sound like an asshole. I think this game I'm about 80% sure it's DOA. I don't know what else they can do. Like, They brought this alpha out. Nobody was talking about this. I was like, yeah, that's not a good sign when you have a little beta out and nobody's talking about it. Like, the game just doesn't seem interesting enough. I think they said they was only launching with like 6 characters and like 3 maps. That's not something I want to pay for. But hey, I could be wrong. I hope it gets better, but I don't see it. I do not see it. I think unfortunately Sony got finessed, man. What you think, Jay?
That was great finessing, bro.
One of the greatest finesses of the century, Lupin the Third type shit, bro. Lupin the Third.
They robbed
money, yeah.
I can't get Sony. You didn't look at the books, bro. Y'all got finessed. It is what it is.
How you let two Twitch streamers before you bought them say this ain't a good idea? Y'all,
we'll trust you. Handshake. We'll trust you.
Yeah, not a good sign. I didn't even get a chance to play. I think I'm pretty sure Watts and Etho, both of y'all played it. The alpha, and yeah, like I said, I was just looking at it and I was like, this doesn't look like this is ready to come out on September 23rd. For the people I did see complain, because TBA said not enough people were talking about it, but for the people that I did see, there was a lot of mixed reviews on it. And again, it's an alpha, so I take those with a grain of salt because this isn't the full release. But it was glaring enough for me to see that this game needed a lot more work. And I mean, we heard rumors before the game even became available for the majority of the public to play. The fact that not enough people were even interested in it also told me that, yeah, this game needs a lot more in order to really, get out there and get the masses actually wanting to invest their time and effort into playing this game. So, I mean, it's cool that they decided to delay it and they have these focus areas here, which are addressing the majority of what I've heard people complain about this game. But I just don't have the confidence that this game will be able to come out. And if it does, will it come out in a non-broken manner that will have people wanting to actually invest that time into it? Just not so certain anymore.
This game is a great example of why I think the industry needs to focus on downscaling teams and scale of the games so we can bring down the price of development so that, if you're able to create a really cool game with a smaller team and a smaller budget, there's something left in the budget to advertise. Because I don't feel like this, as well as a lot of other games, one of the issues I think these investors don't understand is this is not gaming in the early 2000s or in the 90s. The market is saturated. That's another reason why I hate the argument gaming is dead. There are more games to play than ever. I think a better argument is it's harder to maybe find those games because there is a ton of slop on Steam. There's a ton of shovelware on PSN, like that damn banana game. And because all this slop is all over the charts, it makes it more important to advertise your game than ever, because there's just as much good as there is bad. It's just you gotta dig for it, and a lot of people are lazy. So you're gonna need a budget for advertising, and they've already spent a lot of money on this game, and I don't know if it is where it needs to be. And I didn't know people weren't that interested either. Like Jay said, I don't know, man. I don't know what the solution. I don't believe in the extraction genre. I know that one game, it was getting some motion, the one in the desert. What's it called? I think you were trying to play. Yeah, I know that
game's actually fire.
Yeah, that one I think is going to do really well.
Now, if I was an investor, that's the one I would put money in, because that one's made by Embarker Studios, which is the same. Those are the OG DICE devs, and they had the finals, and the finals is still going.
The finals is good.
The finals is not slow down. They've actually been doing good.
I think that like the genre of extraction shooters can work. I just don't. I feel like the industry's been trying to push it as the next big BR, and I don't think it's that. I think there's gonna be standouts. There's gonna be standouts like Arc Raiders, but like I don't see it with this game. What you think, though, Watts?
I think the thing with Arc Raiders is I think it was started as like a looter, right? And then they turned it into an extraction. So it's got all of that base of like really good PvE in it. And that's kind of the thing that when you're playing Arc Raiders and you'll see what people talk about, like they have bosses and enemies and all this stuff that are really hard to deal with, that make you want to work with other people, that makes the tension really high. So it's pushing people outside, it's pushing people inside. The thing with Marathon is like there wasn't any tension in the alpha. Like there was no real threats from AI. You could extract really easily and not have to worry about people really finding you and killing you before you get out. It just didn't have a lot of the tension that an extraction needs. So I don't know how it's going to go for Marathon. I think they need a lot of work. I think the things that they listed that they're working on all sound really good. That's the stuff that they need. But if they could really go into the Marathon, the original Marathon vibes, and also the vibes of the trailers that they have, that's like really creepy, unnerving, weird, like sci-fi, alien stuff going on, and really delve into that, get some more stuff that can push the intensity up, then I think it could be potentially find an audience, because the shooting does feel so good. It is a first person one, whereas Arc Raiders isn't. And for me, I'm like, who really cares about that? But I've heard a lot of people say like they will not play a third person shooter. They only play first person. So I think it's possible, but it's like a lot of work. And I think that team is probably going to have to do a lot of crunching, or Sony's going to have to put up a lot of money to get a lot of outsourcing to help them do it.
What about you, Ethos?
This is karma for shutting down factions.
Oh my lord.
This is karma.
Keep that hate alive, brother.
The hate's gotta keep going. I'm sorry. When you got the audacity to go tell another studio, great, I'm being a little facetious here, because they didn't say that to them. They just said
they were like, do you know how much you're gonna have to focus? Don't do live service.
You know what I just said? Do you? Clearly you don't either.
They're like, no, don't be us.
Don't be us.
Don't.
It was like they grabbed them and said, "You don't want to be like us. Don't run away. Don't make a Destiny. Go away. Run as far as you can.
Yeah.
Don't fall for this." But I agree with Watts. I really like the world concept of it. I like how weird and scary it is, and unfortunately, it's weird. It's kind of disturbing that a game that is about the bleakness of capitalism, basically destroying an entire universe where now it's run by corpo states, forcing people to go into endless shells of themselves who are losing their memory to basically fetch for corporations.
That's what this game is about?
That's literally the entire plot of it.
They need a marketing budget, dog. I had no idea that was about that.
That's why I kept saying the trailer, which is what me and Watts were saying, that trailer they got the Love, Death, and Robot dude to do, amazing. Like if you watch that, you'd want a whole movie of that. Like a whole give me 12 episodes of Netflix. I'm on that. I'm gonna watch every single second of that. Yeah. It's creepy. It's engaging. The world building is unique. It's got this like cool cosmic horror vibe to it. The whole premise of it is effectively there's a colony called Centauri 9. That's why the world building is really cool. There's this colony that exists, and out of nowhere, one day, everybody in the colony just disappears. It's just they're gone. And the what's insinuated is there was some sort of alien threat. It reminds me of Mass Effect with the first Contact Wars. Some sort of alien species appeared on that colony and mysteriously just wiped people out. And the whole idea was it's like a gold rush, because all this colony had all this stuff left there, and now there's nobody protecting it. So there's like a government trying to use the AI to like stop people from stealing stuff, but the corporations, because they're corporations, they're all like, it's a gold mine. Let's get some money. So they're hiring basically people and giving them artificial shells so they can keep using them over and over again, like endless labor, to go on this planet, steal stuff for them, and then bring it back. And in return, I'll give you this cool doohickey that I can fling in your face. That's how fucked up it is. And if you really think about it, it's like, this is messed up. But the cool part about it was, which is what Bungie said, was there was supposed to be an interaction where you then go up to the colony ship or some special place, and they're supposed to be like, that's where the aliens are supposed to be, and it's supposed to be unique. But again, they didn't show this. They wanted to they should have showed this off rip, but they didn't. And that cost them a lot. And that's the problem with Marathon, is I just think art style aside, which I personally thought was really cool, it was something unique. At the end of the day, I agree with Watts. Like, it needed more time in the kitchen, and it ended up stabbing them. Godly, talk about a terrible marketing time. Like, you go from that to the accusations of plagiarism to the whole just every time new information came out of Marathon, it was all negative. There was no positive to it. It was just, oh, disappointment. Why is there no voice chat? We don't think there's good voice chat in a extraction shooter. The fuck, Bungie, are you talking about? Like, it was just like bad decision. And mind you, this is the worst part. You hire one of the people that worked on Valorant. Like, you hired one of the brain children behind Valorant to help you come over to make this. So it wasn't like they were like not knowing what they're doing. Like, you had a person that made a successful franchise. I don't know. It was just a bunch of misses. In my opinion, I agree with you. I'm telling you now, it might be the same scenario we've heard before. I wouldn't be shocked if by the end of this year, that game is not coming out in September. We already heard you say that shit's not coming out. I'm gonna be sure they quietly gut the game, shit. I don't know what Bungie does. Do you work on? They stopped Destiny 3. They got the little Destiny 2 little Star Wars shit. Like what's Bungie supposed to do? They're not doing Halo. Shit, maybe they need Halo. Maybe they go to Microsoft like, bro, let's since you just going over, let's make another Halo or something. But the truth is, Bungie's not who they used to be. That studio is not full of the people that made Halo anymore. It's all completely different people, and that CEO is a piece of shit. I said it, piece of shit.
He got to know where he came over from advertising and stuff at Microsoft was his background.
I bet you he's one of those I failed upwards people. I bet you he's one of the people I failed upwards.
I would suggest the CEO sell all the motorcycles and cars he got if they need funding, because that should be a few million right there.
How about that? How about he fires himself? That's a good start. Matter of fact, how about you just get rid of all the C-suite of Bungie? That's what I would do if I was Sony.
Probably would be better.
See, they all suck. They clearly cannot do their jobs. You need to get rid of all of them. Wipe them all out. Just fire them all. Matter of fact, how about someone do this as an experiment? How about you fire the entire C-suite and the executives that you got in your company, obviously if they're flopping, and you just let the senior developers control the project. Just let the developer just say fuck it. We're gonna let the developers figure it out. We'll just make sure you got them whatever money you need. We're just gonna let senior developer. Guess what? You're now the president. Good luck. Figure it out. like why not? Why the fuck not? At that point, why not? Just crazy idea. Just try. See what happens. Who knows? You might get a good game. Who fucking knows? People that know what they're doing.
Let the devs do their job. What a concept. What a fucking concept.
Exactly.
Freaking did y'all see this new game from NetEase that's been announced? This is the same publisher behind Marvel Rivals and Fragpunk. They got a single player action adventure game they announced called Blood Message that's been making a lot of noise. It's supposed to be an action adventure single player game, and it's using Chinese mythology or something like that. People were really hyping it up because of the graphics. I didn't really get it. The graphics look nice, but like the gameplay the animations look really stiff. I feel like I gotta see more. Also, they don't have a proven track record with like single player games, but I mean, visually it looks good. Did y'all see this game?
I did see it. I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I don't really understand the hype personally, unless it's like this company has $7 billion and this is their first like single player game and we're excited about what that could potentially be. But I think it looks like it's going to be one of those kind of games that I don't really love that much. And it looks like it's going to be more of like an adventure kind of game and not like an action RPG, leaning more towards adventure. And I just tend to not really stay invested in those games. I can enjoy them for a little bit. I think the spectacle is cool, but there's normally not enough of like a foundation of the combat and the investment into my character to keep me interested. So I need to see more. I might like it, but I didn't see it and go, oh my God, it looks amazing.
I feel the same. I was like, I'll keep an eye on it, but like I wasn't blown away. What about you, Jay?
From what I saw, especially in the combat, it kind of reminded me a lot like of Hellblade. It's like very tight focused, like real emphasis on the one-on-one battles. It's just like Hellblade in another setting. But the graphics are very nice, and that's another thing that Hellblade gets a lot of praise for. The graphics are absolutely amazing on that. So that's the kind of vibes that it's reminding me of. I'm not super hype about this one, but it does look nice, and the gameplay looks at least decent. And again, like when I put myself in the mindset that it kind of reminds me of Hellblade, then I kind of understand what the concept might be. But I'm like, why? So I just kind of want to see more. But I'll have it on my radar for sure.
Negro Damas Ethos, you prophesized that Chinese studios were up next. Is this game up next?
I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on that, but I'm going to go off your word and say probably. I mean, it's China.
Bro, the trailer's in the goddamn notes, dude. Jeez.
I didn't have time to look at the damn trailer.
Pull it up now. Pull it up.
I was too up. Okay, I'm looking.
It's 4 minutes. Just scroll through, look at it a little bit, try to get a vibe.
All right, I was getting upset about all that shit that we were talking about.
All that Microsoft and Bungie.
Getting us angry before bed. Gonna go to bed angry.
Yeah, I'm about to go to bed angry.
I'm gonna be arguing in my dreams.
Why are you looking at it?
I was being mad, bro. I was being pissed.
Why are you looking at it? I will say it's very interesting.
God damn.
Yeah, the visuals are crazy. I will say it's interesting because this is NetEase doing this. They're known for microtransactions and multiplayer live service games. And then also Kazaa, wasn't that another microtransaction publisher? Who published Kazaa again?
Nexon.
Nexon, yeah. I'm like, is this the next move? All these big mobile game publishers hopping into AAA development?
You know, I bet those guys are actually looking at the trend of video games and seeing that people do not have, because they have all of these live service games, that people do not have infinite money and infinite time for more live service games that keep people around forever. And they're like, okay, looks like single player games are actually doing okay. And if we could put a bit of money into a single player game, maybe we can make some more money.
Yeah.
No, this looks crazy.
It looks crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you this much. It ain't coming to PS4, which makes me happy. This looks like it's running on Unreal Engine 5.
This might be a Wukong, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Well, Wukong was a little on. That's actually what I thought.
That was my problem. That's my problem.
Looks good.
I'm like,
if you really look at the gameplay, it looks a little stiff like Wukong too. Like I'm seeing some similarities there. That's why
a lot of flair, but not a lot of substance.
Yes, that's what I'm worried about with this game.
That's why I wasn't blown away, because I didn't see anything gameplay wise. Like when we saw what's that game that's coming out next year? Phantom Blade. When we saw Phantom Blade's gameplay, I was like, damn, those animations are smooth. Combat looks awesome. Whereas this is the other way around, where I'm like, it looks super flashy and like looks like you can have some crazy cinematic moments.
But like Uncharted type things where it's like, you know,
maybe
very big on presentation, but like story, but like gameplay is very like straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks. Yeah, this might be another dub. I ain't gonna lie. They're cooking us. I'm not gonna lie. China's whooping our ass right now. This is insane.
Don't say that, bro. That's gonna make you end up on the hit list with ICE and shit.
I don't give a fuck.
Trump gonna get you.
It is true.
It's funny though, I was gonna say that, but like, you know, I'll let Ito say it because, you know, he the real terrorist in his
I'm
trying to revoke. They trying to revoke Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. They gonna get you.
I heard. I might do that. Get ready.
That's crazy. A U.S. citizen, man.
They gonna get you.
If that happens, like that's the end. By the way.
Oh yeah. If they legitimately pull that shit off, jokes aside, like that, that's.
It's not funny.
End of days, boys.
I'll see y'all in Africa, man.
Yeah.
Apparently that's where we're all from.
If we all, just so we know, if we all get deported simultaneously, what country are we all picking so we just meet up? Which one we picking?
I haven't thought about this.
It's crazy.
Where do they like?
I mean, I'm in California. I can just go to Mexico. So
I mean, you're already considered not in America. You're considered in the hell.
I'm right next to Canada.
Canada's pretty cool. I can reach Canada.
Canada's really close.
Are you close to watch like Vancouver?
Vancouver, yeah.
We went to Vancouver one time.
You're Toronto.
I can literally get on a train there right now.
Be like, hey guys, if you criticize the government, you take the citizenship away, that's a violation of the First Amendment, right? Like,
we don't care.
We care about that, right? Like,
what is the Constitution? Nope. We stopped giving a fuck about that a while ago.
Oh my goodness. With all this bullshit going on in the country, you're probably going to need something to ease your mind as an adult. And I'm happy to report that Chuck E. Cheese is launching a new arcade for adults. Are we guys excited for Chuck? It's called Chuck's Arcade.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a competitor to Dave & Buster's. Adults can go in, you can play games, get tickets, and win prizes. Who's going to Chuck's Arcade, baby?
Then I'll go. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, why not?
You know what? This is because we're all old and childless, and we just want to like eat and play games.
Yeah,
JJ got kids.
Not me.
Not JJ. JJ, well, that's why you're going to Chuck E. Cheese. We're going to Chuck's Arcade.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. My daughter actually does want to go to Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm like, why? It's so like I just envision Chuck E. Cheese now being just old and just like germ infested. I'm like, we can go somewhere else. Like we've been to Dave & Buster's, we've been to Game Time. I'm like, can we go other places?
They gotta see the animatronics one time so they can be terrified by them or love them. That's when you'll figure out your kid. You'll figure out how weird your kid is. You put them in front of the Chuck E. Cheese like van and stuff, and you see how they react to it. And if they're like they love it, then you'll be like, oh, okay. I got one of the weird ones.
Little pizza, little Chuck Arcade.
Little pizza.
I went to Dave & Buster's last weekend, bro. I'm getting old. I was just worried about getting sick. It was just kids everywhere.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to
Okay, that's Chuck's Arcade. They have to make it to where they don't let kids in because that's where all the
it's for adults. It's strictly for adults, man. Yeah.
All kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is like Dave & Buster's more. I know they let kids in there, but it's geared more.
No children.
Yeah.
They get all their sticky hands on everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd rather go to a bar arcade. Y'all got bar arcades near y'all?
Yeah,
bar
yeah,
arcades
yeah.
are so fire. Yeah, just pay like
they're
$20
great.
and then play whatever the hell you want all night or all day.
Those are great.
I'm not gonna lie. If they bring this to LA, I check it out at least once.
I'll check it out once.
Do
Why
like
not?
do a little vlog, a little fun little.
I'll
hey,
tell you this much. When I
guys.
went to David Buster's last week, it made me realize how much I fucking hate Mario Kart, and that's why I didn't buy that damn Switch too. I mean, it's a good game, but you know they have an arcade version of Mario
Yeah,
Kart.
arcade version.
I was
Yeah,
winning
yeah.
75% of the race. I'm about to win on the third lap, and I get hit nonstop with blue shot. I said, "This is why I hate this game. No skill, no skill."
Bro, they have some like very interesting weapons that you can get on the arcade version. That's not on the console version.
It was really fun though. I was like, man, if I had a house, I would want one of these.
That's cool. I have one of these like an hour away in St. Pete.
Oh, you
I
say
may
you're gonna
need to
check
make
it
a trip
out?
to see what it. Yeah, there is one here. There's one.
Let me see. This
Call them up. Call them up. Let them know you got a
Chuck's
podcast.
Arcade.
Let them know you'll do a review, do a little vlog or something like. What's
Yeah, that's
up?
what I'm saying. Maybe we
UTX
should
for
reach
the
out to them.
podcast.
And say, yeah,
This is
you
new.
know,
You know they looking for advertisement.
I know there's a Chuck
true.
E. Cheese because I used to go to one when I was.
Let me
a kid.
get
There's
some
like
free
2 of
tokens
them.
or something, bro. Like,
So is it like if I go to a Chuck E. Cheese, would there be the Chuck's Arcade in it, or
no,
is it
it's
like
a separate
whole
thing. It's
separate-
gonna be a separate
Separate.
thing. They're opening 3 locations to test it out, but it's a separate thing completely for
Yeah,
adults.
because the only ones I see is actual like Chuck E. Cheese. Like there's a couple Chuck E. Cheese.
Nah, this just got announced like last week. This is brand new.
Oh, I just gotta wait then. Okay.
New concept as they expand. Yeah.
Arcade with
Yeah,
10.
so
Oh wait.
10
Hold on. There's
10
a local
locations
too.
right now.
You said there's a local.
You don't
yeah.
have one near you. It's
I would say there's
it's
a local.
Georgia, Oklahoma, St. Pete, Florida. So they have 2 in Oklahoma, Tulsa and Oklahoma City,
Makes sense.
Victor, New York, El Paso, Texas, Salem,
It's gonna be small
New
markets.
Hampshire.
You see
Yeah,
this place
Kansas
where they
City,
test
Missouri.
you. They pay
I
all
bet it
one
would
for
do
the-
well
Nashville.
in Seattle. I bet it would. Any like
Okay.
nerdy stuff in Seattle playing
You
games.
have one. Do you know where Brea is? TBH.
Nah, Brea, California. What the fuck?
Yeah, Brea, California said that's a location coming soon in the mall.
I wonder how far is that? Oh,
There's
it's
a
30.
place-
It's 30 miles from
Or-
LA. Actually, it's not far. I could probably make that trip if they in the. That's not far.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a cool place when I worked downtown. They had this cool like hole in the wall that was like in a basement, and it was like a video game bar arcade. That place was really fun. I really
Those
Yeah,
places are great.
I love those. Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah, barcades are lit. And one of the Dave and Buster's, it was fun. I was like, oh man, this is, and it wasn't too expensive. $20. I got to play a bunch of different games. I was like, this isn't bad. That's all I got on the show notes. Do y'all got anything else you want to add to the show before we wrap this one up?
Is he-
Pretty Derby.
Here we
talk
go.
about it.
Here we
Gotta
go,
talk
man.
about it.
Go
This
ahead.
game is
So
incredible.
this has been episode 166. For our closing statement, we're gonna let Ethos take the floor so he can talk about this damn waifu game. Go ahead.
Yo, Pretty Derby is amazing. Okay, it's called Umamuse. Pretty
Uma
Derby.
Musume. Yeah.
Umemusume,
Uma
Pretty
Musume.
Derby. Played on PC. Don't play it on the phone version. Kind of a little whack, but the PC version, amazing. I put almost 20 hours in this damn game. I'm not gonna lie. I did it as a joke. I was like, I saw something on Twitter. I was like, this is hilarious. I'm gonna give it a shot. It is actually a roguelike. And it's actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. I got like several of my friends on it to try it out, and they're hooked on it. It's really cool. You get to pick a horse girl, and the cool part is, I learned that all these horse girls are actually real horses in real life. Like they all have history within like actual horse races in Japan. And I learned some crazy shit about some of these horses. Bullship is insane. I learned about some of these horses, the way they died. It was actually sad as shit. Like so
Yeah,
you can
it's
actually
very
learn
sad.
some.
Don't go too deep. You'll get sad.
Yeah, there's some real sad stuff in here, and it's even worse
Watch the
when you equate it to a. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, it's got me wanting to do some parlays. Made me want to go to Kentucky and look at the Derby. Matter of fact, they said they have a what is it called? A museum exhibit. They have an exhibit in Kentucky right now in the Derby
Damn.
that actually has these horse girls in there. Like in tying like the
Nice.
history of horses with Japan. Like it's an entire exhibit about horses and their connection with Japanese culture and like how they were used in war and then they were used in racing stuff. It's really cool. I might go down there when I'm bored and just, be a cool little trip. Yeah, that's it. Check it out. It's a cool game. And it's not like it is a gacha game, but the cool part is I never once felt incentive, like forced that I have to spend my money. I have never felt it. I gave him $5 because I was like, hey, you gave me 20 hours of fun, so I'll give you something. But never felt once I was forced to spend my money on it. So highly recommend.
You heard it here first. Game of the year for him. Waifu Derby.
Actual game of the year contender.
Maybe.
I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in right now.
It's actually been really cool seeing like on Twitter and stuff, people are watching documentaries on these horses and they're learning so much about like horse history.
I literally watched
They're like, did you know that this was actually, and yeah, it's actually been pretty cool.
It's
to see that.
sick. Yeah, the anime is really cool.
Deep into this, man. Jeez.
Go watch the anime. It came out in 2018.
Yeah, the anime's fire.
The movie has insane animation.
It has better animation than Blue Lock. I'm not even joking.
No, it's not kidding. It's true.
More waifu ponies for y'all. What's your closing statement for episode 166? Go.
I don't know.
Who's your favorite horse?
Well, everyone loves Gold Ship. Everyone loves Gold Ship. Gold Ship. We'll do some Gold Ship lore. Gold Ship. The trainers and the rider and everyone was just, they weren't hoping that he would win. They were hoping that he would be normal. Because if he was being normal, he would win. But the thing is that he would just be like, I don't really feel like racing today. And he wouldn't race. And then when he retired, found out that he's actually like incredible and could do whatever he wants. Just didn't feel like it. Wasn't the career he chose.
A lazy horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. I'm not joking. There's a race where the horse literally, I guess, like when it's like late start where they all start and they go out the gate. It like bumped. It got up on the gates and tried to fight another horse and try to fight its trainer. So the race starts. They all start late. So Gold Horse is like still in the gate, and then it's like 10 seconds, like, oh yeah, I'm racing. It starts racing and it wins. He wins. He beats all of them and wins. I gotta find a clip. It's the
like a really, really good horse.
It's
like
a really
racing, like
it's
really
one of those things where it's
insane.
like it's a prodigy. It's the only problem is he's lazy. That's
Yeah,
it.
he does.
Like,
He doesn't. He wanted to be a musician or something.
Yeah.
He's not trying to be a racer.
And the crazy part was there's a video comparison of the anime. This is how good the anime is. They actually like take clips from the actual real races and they animated them as like the horse girls like it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually really cool. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Look how passionate he is about waifu ponies. I wish he was this passionate about beating the nameless puppet. JG, what's your closing statement? What's your closing
Maybe
statement?
Maybe a hot
JG?
anime girl, then I'll do it.
No, Ethos is funny. This man literally had the most random game take his time, but he does not want to get on Lines of Pete. Insane. Anyways, I appreciate everybody for listening to this podcast. We definitely gave y'all a banger. Very long episode this time, so hopefully it'll hold y'all over for a little bit. But in that, like I said before, that I started this out to midnight finally, so I hope to beat that before Wu Chang comes out in a couple weeks. I want to see what happens at the end, man. Like I say, y'all got me interested on how this plot is going to be, but for now, I'm already seeing the emotions coming through, so I'm invested now. I want to see what's going to happen afterward.
How far are you?
He says on chapter 4 earlier, like before we started recording.
Chapter 5. Yeah, 5 now. I'm on chapter 5.
Okay.
So after the gator. Yes,
The
main villain's up there with like
the
Lex
villain.
Luthor. I don't know if you've seen Superman. He probably.
Oh my God,
Lex
we need
is
to talk about
top-
Superman.
Lex is probably the top hater of the year. He up there with Kendrick, but the main villain in
100%.
South of Midnight is top 5 villain too. Top 5.
True.
My closing statement for episode 166 is, fun fact, I have downloaded Magic Arena, so I'm going to try to learn how to play.
Ooh.
I went to my local card shop and they asked me if I had any experience with card games. I said, yeah, I play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I play Hearthstone, and a couple other things. They was like, oh yeah, if you play Hearthstone, you can pick it up really quickly. Is that true, Ethos?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look, bro. Hey, I got you right now, bro. Look, check it out, bro. $30 right here.
Here we go.
$30 right here.
Here we go. But I
I'm
decided
building this right now, Billy Una.
I was my comic book shop that I go to. It's also half
Real
of it
quick.
is a card shop.
What's your favorite color so far? You've actually played some matches?
No, I haven't played it yet. I just downloaded it today.
Oh, I'll be curious to know
I'm trying to
what
play tonight. Do the
color you like.
tutorials.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see like what color, because there's like 5 colors, like black, white, red. They're personality types, so I'd be curious which one you gravitate towards.
Oh.
Yeah, when I went to my comic shop on Wednesday, they got a card section too, and I was just asking for advice, but I didn't want to be impulsive. I was like, he's like, yeah, just download the mobile game, try it out, and then come back
Ping
spin
me
the block.
when you go to that shop, so I make sure they don't rip you off. 'Cause
I looked at the thing. It looked on average the decks were like 30 to 40. Is that normal?
Yeah, unless you try those Final Fantasy, because that shit's exploding right now. I think you can get for like no more than 60.
Okay.
No more than 60.
Well, I
They try
want to get something
overturn
good.
it.
I got a buddy out here. He's been trying to teach me how to play, and I'm trying to make sure I win.
Hell
So I was
yeah,
like,
we can play
whatever.
Commander. Yes.
Already knew.
Finally!
So we're gonna mention Commander.
I don't even know what that
Play
means.
Commander.
That sounds nerdy as hell.
It's
bro.
cool. It's 4-player board of battle
Commander,
royale.
actually.
You're about to play Magic. Of course, it's dirty.
I
You're
guess.
playing Magic.
If I'm gonna play something, I'm gonna dominate. That's all I know.
Hey, don't worry. Hey, Dave's trying to play too, so we can all play something.
Can
on
you?
Twitch.
So the phone one Arena, is it on Steam? And like, does it have like cross progression on it
Yeah.
or something? It's on. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll probably put it on
Yeah,
Steam.
it's all one count. Yeah, you can play it on your phone.
Yeah, I fuck with card games. I was like, I've been open to trying it for a while. I was like, fine, let me try it out. But yeah, that's my closing statement. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show. This has been almost a 4-hour show. I'm ready to go to fucking bed. So. If you're watching the video version, make sure to hit the like button on YouTube at youtube.com/GI updates. Make sure to rate it 5 stars if you're watching it on Apple and Spotify. And we will see you on the next episode of the Game and Illuminati podcast. Peace.